There's no way to put it other than it wasn't the ending anyone wanted. It wasn't the ending anyone expected. But here we are in the offseason. Step 1, the NBA draft. What will the Suns do? Will they trade a key piece to get a more promising asset? Will they stand pat, not only now, but in the days to come? Will DA stay? Will KD be a Sun? The first parts of that puzzle begin to come together tonight on PHNX Suns Draft Live.
Welcome in to the PHNX Suns podcast, brought to you by the DraftKings Sportsbook app, America's #1 sportsbook app. Don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe wherever you get your podcast, and leave us a 5-star review. Thanks for tuning in to our 2022 NBA Draft Show. I'm Lindsay Smith here with Saul Bookman, Espo, and Gerald Bourguet. Gentlemen, are you guys excited for the night?
I'm hyped up.
I've never been so excited for a draft that my team has no picks in than I am tonight. Let's do this.
Hour 1. Here we go.
I mean,
Check in with us each hour.
I will say this. If of all the years where the Suns could have chosen to not have a draft pick, this probably is the most entertaining that it could possibly be with all the speculation and chaos that's going on in Brooklyn.
Yes.
I'm just going to say that.
Well, I mean, at least there's something for us to kind of like keep an eye on throughout the night. It makes it more fun.
It does.
It's like there's not as much pressure, but then there's also a boatload of pressure at the
For
same
sure,
time.
For sure.
Well, and we've got the will they, won't they, that tension. Will they get into this draft? Won't they? When will it be? You don't know. So you got to stay tuned the whole time to
Basically,
find out.
the NBA version of a fourth date.
Oh, God.
Yeah, but the scoring happens much later after the night, right?
Should I groom? Should I not? I don't know. Let's go.
60 seconds
We're
into
gonna
a
be here
5-hour
for
show.
5 hours.
I shaved my legs for this.
Oh my God. Clearly.
But there is a lot on the line, and we should probably get to that right off the bat because there's some money that people can win tonight. Let's go.
Yeah, so we
Money.
could do that. Let's go ahead and put down some bets on the
Yes.
DraftKings Sportsbook app right now before the betting window closes. Gerald, you start us off with your pick.
Yeah, apparently there's been a lot of momentum for Paolo Branchero to go #1 overall. So I'm going Jabari Smith, 2nd overall pick. The odds were plus 800 when we entered this. I'm not sure if they're still that high now, but that seems like a good pick to me.
Absolutely. I got Shaden Sharp at the under of 7.5. I just feel like somebody's going to jump at the potential that he offers. The young guy from Kentucky. And then Ochai Agabaji to the Bulls, plus 1,000. I just feel like for what the Bulls do, he's such a good fit. Now, I don't think he's going to make it that far, but if he should, the Bulls would be silly not to take him. So plus 1,000 plus, those odds are great. So
I have Nikola Jovic going in the top 10. How is the current MVP not go top 10? So
Yep.
no. Do I have that wrong?
Yeah,
God. No, it's Nikola. I don't even know how to.
Jovic.
Jovic, not Jokic.
Jovic and Jokic.
Being a top 10 pick at
that
plus
would be
25.
that
I
would be
hope they wind up on the same team.
That would be an extreme reach.
It's the kind of prospect that some team does take a giant reach on, though. There's always one of those guys in the top 10 that you went, how the hell did this happen?
Mm-hmm.
And I think this might be the case.
So mine's not going to win you a ton of money, but I got a minus 285 Keegan Murray to go under 5.5 picks tonight.
So you
He's
think
got to
he's
be a
6 or
top 5
later?
pick.
Yeah, top 5 pick,
Top
right?
5 pick, yeah. I actually think he's going to drop to 6 or 7, but that's still worth it. Worth a gamble.
That's the point.
Well, those are our picks for
There it
tonight.
is.
So if you guys want to get in on the action, download the DraftKings Sportsbook app, but make sure you do it really quickly because
You're
the
running out
window
of
is
time.
going to close. I do have a question for some of you guys.
Can I crack
Shane,
open my
maybe
beer?
you too.
Wait.
What?
I forgot. It's
What?
draft night.
Yeah.
It's
Okay.
draft night.
Uh-huh.
So we have to put on special shoes for draft night, guys.
Oh, see, I wore
Oh.
like my least favorite shoes so I could sit on them all night.
Oh my goodness.
So I brought the special
Oh,
shoes.
dear
What?
Lord.
What?
What in the heck are
Are those
those?
your Louboutins?
These are my Magic shoes.
Oh my god.
Let's
Those
go. It's draft night.
those had to
Oh,
have been in a Michael Jackson
I
music
also-
video
I
at some
also-
point.
I also have these two.
Oh, he's got the glasses on.
Let's go.
Okay.
Let's go.
Oh, you're so fancy.
We're styling and profiling tonight on draft night. Let's go, baby.
You know, I
Why
actually
do you only
thought
put
about
one
it.
of those shoes on?
Because my other foot's on the ground, you dick. They can't see it through the magic of TV.
Espo just shattered the illusion.
Oh, now I gotta put the other one on just because.
Wait,
You're
those
full
look comfy
Mr.
on the
Rogers.
inside though.
Hey, they are
They're like
Mr.
little
Rogers.
loafers.
Was that like red, like
Yeah.
velvety
Yeah, something
material
like
on the
that.
inside?
I usually have
Saul's
the foot socks, but you know,
Okay.
I
Do you
Saul's
wear those
under-
around your house as like house shoes?
no, I actually wore these when I got my master's degree at the U of A. I walked across the stage with these bad
Did you
boys.
really?
Oh yeah, I sure did.
Hold on. Saul's underselling his draft night outfit, though. Saul and I came in to the nines. We decided to change out of it before coming on the show. But can we show how Saul and I walked into the studio
We did.
today?
We did.
It was looking good. Yeah,
Oh,
that's
there you
right.
go.
Look
There
at
you
those
go.
draft night suits
That's
from
right.
Saul and
I don't know how I became white overnight, but that's cool. That's cool.
I don't know how I lost 100 pounds, but I'll take it. You know.
I would love if one day there were like two buddies in this draft who actually did that.
That would be awesome.
It would be
That would be
super fun.
amazing.
That would be pretty
They would
dope.
win the draft for like 5 years straight.
Okay,
Speaking
so
of
going back-
drafts, should we open up the best drafts you can have in Phoenix?
Oh,
Oh,
a little
little-
juicy right
A
there.
little
Mm.
explosive.
Cheers, fellas.
Cheers.
Happy draft night.
Happy draft night, everybody.
Ale.
Cheers.
Hope you
There you
enjoy
go.
the
There you
hazy
go.
drinks
There
as
you go.
well.
Gotcha. There you go.
Cheers. Okay, so back to my question.
Mhm.
I saw a lot of people online last night talking about the amount of movement between the first three overall picks and how they've never really seen this much movement in the draft before.
Mhm.
As bettors, does that make it more exciting, more frustrating? Kind of what's the vibe on that?
As betters?
Yeah, like if you
Oh.
were betting on the first three overall picks, would that make things, would you be like, all right, I'm not doing it?
I mean, you probably hesitate a little bit, but it's also fun. It's fun when you don't know.
That's the point.
Yeah, that's the point. And the odds change, and we saw the odds change a significant amount, right, Shane? Sorry, I caught him off guard.
It's okay. Yeah, last night in like the span of an hour, I believe, it went from Jabari Smith to be the number one pick pretty overwhelmingly at minus 800 or something to down to like minus 200, then back to minus 600, then back down to 300, and then it settled at minus 350. And that was all in an hour. And then this morning it's been changing a little bit, and I believe it just skyrocketed up to 700. So I have no idea what's happening. I don't know what is going on. I cannot tell you.
The most recent tweet from Woj a couple minutes ago was that Banchero is gaming steam to be the number one overall pick. So
It's that suit.
Gaining steam.
they just saw him show up and they're like, "That's our guy."
But anybody that has the balls to wear that
I
on
mean,
draft night,
listen,
I'm
hey,
taking him one.
I like his outfit. I really do.
Oh, I don't think there's anything wrong with it, but it's
Dolce-
flashy.
I think it's Dolce and Gabbana.
yeah.
The whole thing. Oh man.
but
That's
you-
icy.
You
It is
gotta
icy.
you gotta have a certain
so.
attitude to pull that off, and
You gotta have really good vibes to pull it off. Your beer's frozen?
Yeah, I was gonna be like, also, I have this, and crack open a beer. It's rock solid inside.
that's about right.
Oh, so says Jay in the chat says Banchero is minus 200 right now.
Yeah,
Mine is
that's how much
200.
it's
To go
moved.
one,
Yeah.
Yeah.
turn me
Yeah.
up.
Yeah,
That's great.
There's a
My-
lot of movement. Woj just tweeted out this might be the most volatile first three picks ever in the NBA draft because nobody knows who's going to go number one anymore. For the longest time, it was supposed to be Jabari, and now it's looking like it's going to be Paolo. So
You know what this screams to me? James Jones is right. Nobody knows anything.
Exactly.
The draft is insane.
It's all just the lottery.
Worthless.
Oh God.
Get it out of my face.
There we go.
Well,
Also, I think it's really cool that ESPN is showing they're doing like player intros with
Yeah.
their families.
Yeah,
I
it's
think
like
they
they're
started this last year,
walking
all
the
right, what do you
walkway.
think about Jaden Hardy's outfit? All white?
Yeah, I like it.
Silky?
Yeah,
That's
What,
pretty-
what is the is those
The
rhinestones?
trim? I want
What's
to
the
know what it
trim?
is on
Yeah.
the
It's
trim,
not
too.
rhinestones.
I don't know.
Rhinestones.
I
These
don't
guys
know.
got like
Wait, it
hundreds of
might
thousands
be.
of dollars, man.
Like bejeweled?
Chet Holmgren looks like his parents are taking him to prom.
Oh.
He, look,
Yeah.
he looks like, no, you know what he looks like when Frank Kaminsky put on Deandre Ayton's chain after a game.
Oh.
That's what he looks like.
Mm,
Come on.
okay.
That's
Okay.
tough.
He does.
I'm not a big Chet Holmgren guy, but we'll get into that later.
Okay. We'll talk
Okay,
about that.
so let's set the scene then. Why do we not have a draft pick tonight?
James Jones hates them. that is the Reader's Digest version, the quick take
I love
on it.
that.
But there is a reason. The first round pick, number 30 overall tonight, was traded to Oklahoma City as part of that Chris Paul deal a couple of years ago. The second round pick was acquired by Indiana as part of the Torrey Craig, Aaron Holiday deal that went down at the deadline. So there are 0 picks in this draft. There are some rumors that the Suns might either trade or buy into that second round. There has been some rumblings that 8 to 10 in that lottery, they may try to get in there. I'm guessing one of the 7 guys they have on their micro board must be plotted to go in that range potentially. So there are some options on the board, even though they're own picks.
I'd be surprised if we see that happen. It would be obviously really fun and thrilling to see, but I'm more kind of expecting them, if they do something, it'll be in the second round. They buy their way in. We just saw the Lakers today. They traded, I think, a future second rounder and cash to get the 35th overall pick. And you look at what they traded this year, why they don't have picks, you can justify it. Like the Chris Paul trade, obviously you give up a first rounder for that, the success they've had. And then that second rounder, like it was the last pick in the draft. So I guess number 58 this year, because there are 2 picks that have been forfeited
Which
due
is
to
so
tampering.
weird.
So
I love that the punishment for tampering is, give us a second round pick. I'd
Yeah.
go, I'm tampering the hell out of this
Yeah, it
shit.
makes it pretty
then."
worthwhile.
The number 1 overall pick is now suspended on DraftKings. And
Oh.
everything. So no,
It's been traded. You think I'm kidding? Somebody just traded up for that number 1
Hey,
pick. is
Joel
my guess.
Ramirez in the chat says, I cashed out my 401k and bet it all on Chet to go number 1. If I win, I'll make $27.
Let's go.
What he didn't tell you is there was $13 in his 401k.
very nice,
Well,
Joel.
these
Love it.
days,
Good luck.
you're lucky to have $13 in your 401k. Where's the Cardi B voice? She's getting real when we need it.
You just did it, so thank you.
Yeah, but I can't do Cardi B justice. What are you guys most like? What do you think if you were putting money down? Say there were odds on DraftKings for what the Suns will do tonight. What would you actually put your money on?
I actually think they're not going to do anything.
Okay.
That's kind of what I think. If I had to put money on it, I'd say 50% would be they won't make a move at all.
I think we're going to get a report that they made a trade that can't become official until later on.
I think they buy a pick in the 40s, probably.
Look,
That'd be
we covered all bases right
Yeah.
there. What we're saying is we have no clue.
I actually think they're going to trade Cam Johnson.
Oh boy.
Really?
And
I think they're gonna
Suns
trade Jake
Twitter will
LaRavia.
be ablaze.
So I have heard rumblings from that same Blazers writer that I mentioned earlier that the Blazers really like Cam Johnson. They've liked him since draft night. They were devastated when he didn't get past the Suns in that draft. So they are a team that's obviously been making a lot of moves. They're one to keep an eye on. I don't know how much to read into that because obviously that's coming from the Blazers side of things. Are the Suns shopping him? Are the Blazers just calling about Cam Johnson? I don't know. But yeah, I don't know. That would be rough because I'm looking at the Blazers, but they did just add Jeremy Grant, so that is something to.
The Blazers
keep on the
are trying
radar.
to position themselves to kind of retool
Right.
all together. So
Right.
again, we were kind of talking about before, and with this Kyrie stuff, everybody's talking about the Lakers, but the one team that on the low, and I have this on very good authority, that we should keep an eye out for as well, is not just the Lakers, it's the other LA team and the Clippers. Like I know that, I've heard that,
Mhm.
and should the Clippers be able to find a way to get Kyrie and keep Kawhi and Paul George,
It's over.
holy crap!
That's-
And that's the thing about James Jones right now and the Suns is like you cannot be sedentary and just kind of wait. So I agree with him about trying to make moves and not really going after draft picks, because you got to wait on potential to be realized. You got to fucking do something, especially if other teams in the West are making big moves.
Well, yeah, win now mode,
Got
like
to.
Jones is talking about, isn't standing pat. You will not have the same success you had last year because, like we talked about, the West is going to get better. We talked about it all year, and that's why we felt this was the window this past year. Well, now you have to get significantly better because the rest of the West is either via getting guys back from injury, because Denver's doing that too. You're going to have LA. It sounds like one of the LA teams might get Kyrie based on all the rumors here. There will be a much stronger Western Conference. So what are you going to do, James Jones? What is your move? And it can't just be, well, we signed and trade DeAndre Ayton for cents on the dollar. Well, guess what? You're worse in the West significantly if you just do that.
I do think, though, we need to have more tempered expectations for tonight because change should be coming, like you're saying. But if anybody has not been following the podcast for a while, it's probably not going to come tonight. There will be no DeAndre Ayton sign and trade tonight.
No,
that can't happen until free agency starts. Otherwise, there's tampering involved. But we could hear Cam Johnson's name floated as, kind of feeling the market for a potential DA sign and trade later.
But also, you can read the tea leaves in certain situations.
Mm-hmm.
Other teams that are pursued, like yesterday with Jeremy Grant, obviously that gives the Pistons a lot more flexibility to be able to offer DA the max. And in other teams that have been rumored to go after DA, there's going to be a lot of movement possibly tonight, and that's going to give us an indication on what teams are really going to be interested in DA and what the Suns could possibly get in the sign and trade. Because I'm going to say this until I'm blue in the face. There's no way the Suns will let DA walk out the door for free.
Right.
I refuse to believe that. So
I mean, that would just be literally the dumbest thing ever.
oh well, everything would just burn down at that point.
Well, some people might be like, it's better, whatever. But look,
Until they start off 10-10 next year.
If there's a power forward that's going to move, it's Jay Crowder tonight. I don't think it's Cam Johnson. I think they're going to get rid of a guy. It's Jay Crowder, and they say to Cam, we believe you can be a starter in this league. I don't see it being Cam Johnson. I think Jay Crowder's the forward on the move if one of them gets moved tonight.
We have seen multiple reports, one from Bleacher Report's Jake Fisher, and then I think another from Gambo today, that the Suns are listening to offers with Jay Crowder, which makes sense because a lot of the trades that we've talked about, his $10.1 million salary is a nice piece to financially make contracts line up. And he's obviously, he's not a weak link in the starting five, but he is the weakest of that fivesome. So,
and he's a contract that's coming to an end, which
expiring
makes it
contract,
easier to move, more appealing. I think that's the most likely piece to move if a player moves.
Yeah, and to Jay's defense, Jay Crowder does a lot of the little things that don't show up on the stat book. And to his credit, he's been a consummate pro, so that's fantastic. But at in the playoffs, the last couple of years, there's been a little bit to be desired. You wish he would have played a little bit better. I thought he actually had a pretty good Dallas Mavericks series, but for the most part, in his career with the Suns, the playoffs, you never knew what kind of Jay you were going to get, hot and cold all the time. And I think against a team like the Bucks, that hurt. That hurt because sometimes he just didn't show up at all, and you were this close. You were so close in that series. So I think getting somebody that's a little bit more consistent, that can fill in those boxes a little bit more, or even promoting Cam Johnson to that starting lineup might be the piece. But then again, every little bit of movement creates another hole, and so you got to be careful with all that stuff as you move forward.
Yeah, and I do think it's worth noting, like you said, Jay Crowder brings a lot of intangibles to this group. He's well liked. We give Chris Paul a lot of the credit for kind of the culture and the veteran leadership and experience and all that. Jay Crowder is a big part of that too. But I do think, if you're going to keep him, this is the time to kind of move Cam Johnson into that starting lineup if he's there too. And I do think if you're going to trade Jay Crowder, like with any of these pieces, you need to make sure you're doing it for a specific reason. It's not just to dump Jay Crowder and put Cam in the starting lineup. You can do that and keep a well-liked veteran, keep the chemistry. But if you have a means to an upgrade, that's when that Crowder contract probably comes into play.
It's a big question, though. Can you find an upgrade that somebody wants to take Jay Crowder and you can actually get a piece that's upgrade. I don't know that you can do that in this draft.
Hello in the chat said Jay was the only one making threes in the playoffs, LOL. But Chris said the 5-game swings in shooting are hard.
Yeah, I mean, it's true. And like I said, Jay was the only. He was, especially in game 6.
In the Mavs series.
In the Mavs
sure.
series, for sure.
Yeah.
He actually probably had his most consistent series in the Mavs series. And I appreciate what he brought to the table. But again, you need a lot more consistency on both sides of the court. And because of what he brought defensively, it was hard to rationalize taking him out in key situations, despite the fact that he was sometimes just so anemic on the offensive side.
Yeah.
So Jan brings up in the chat Payne and Shamet, not Crowder. Now, what do you guys think about Campaign tweeting out at 3 p.m. best fans, purple and orange heart emojis?
I honestly think it's
Tea leaves. Here we go.
Twitter
Let's
sleuths.
read it.
It's draft night, baby.
I'm just saying.
I think it's more just kind of a delayed response to the charity softball game last night. There were a lot of people that showed up to support a good cause. Campaign was obviously there. Didn't play very well, but he was there. I think it was just kind of a delayed shout out to the fans, but you never know with this type of stuff.
I mean, did he sleep all day?
Who's trading for Campaign? Let's be honest. What you saw this season, there's 2 more years on that deal. I don't think anybody is actively looking for Campaign. I think it had more to do with that event last night.
Well, I think it's non-guaranteed though, and he could be part if there is a larger trade with, Campaign, Jay Crowder, Landry Shamet, Dario Saric, guys like that. You can mix and match contracts just to, meet salary requirements. But yeah, I agree. I think it's just a softball thing.
You're saying final year is non-guaranteed,
Yes.
not this year.
Yeah.
What are we gonna have snack wise tonight? Everybody in the chat, what are you doing food wise tonight? Because Jay just tweeted at us. He's got a Starbucks like a Frappuccino drink and some hot Cheetos. What's everyone's
weird
go-to?
That
That's
is
a
an
weird
odd
combination.
I love the hot Cheetos.
I mean,
Don't get me wrong.
I totally get it though.
Yeah, stir
I
some
do.
hot
I
Cheetos.
totally get it.
I did a poll the other day asking, is pizza followed up by China chili a bad idea?
Yes.
And most people agree that it was a bad idea and that would tear your stomach up. However, I have polled everybody in this building about what they would like to eat tonight, and nobody gave me any options except for Lindsay. So Lindsay's getting her way tonight. We are going to start off with a beautiful delicacy of pizza, and then we are going to follow it up a couple hours later with some China chili, and hopefully, if we haven't already pooped ourselves by that point, we will ram home some ice cream to finish the job.
Who's the first one to run off the set in Dumb and Dumber style?
Oh, God.
It's time to go.
I didn't see the poll. Did you include the ice cream part?
Yeah,
I
you
did.
Okay, so that's huge. I feel like that is kind of the icing on the cake there. That kind of overblows everything. The fact that you're having ice cream and Chinese food together kind of freaks me out.
But it's like at the end. Like, I'm not saying don't eat pizza, Chinese food, and ice cream all within the first hour of the show. But like come 8 o'clock at night, yeah, you're probably going to want something sweet. That's where the ice cream comes into play.
Oh, Lindsay
Joel-
thinks the show's going to be over by 8. That's so sweet.
Yeah, that's so cute.
Joel in the chat's got it right. He's just eating a bag of OGs tonight.
There you
I
go.
mean, that's not bad. Got
Well-
a lot of people in the chat talking
Oh,
about
wow.
pizza.
We
Yeah.
got
Oh,
we
wow.
got the confirmation.
We got some
from
confirmation, but we don't want to say it on the screen.
Yeah,
We
yet.
so
don't-
what's happening? Are we going to do this based on tweets? Or are we doing it based on when it actually goes through on the TV? How are we gonna do this?
The confirmation from Shams is Kate Edith. No, I'm just kidding. We're talking draft
Well, I mean,
picks,
we
right?
still got 3 minutes on the clock for Orlando on the broadcast.
Yeah, I say screw the broadcast. Let's give the people what they want. Let's tell them who's drafted.
Shams didn't get the memo. He was like, "Fuck it."
Well, why would he? He doesn't work for ESPN.
We got Chris Haynes confirming it now as
All-
well.
Okay.
All right, let's go with it.
Are we doing this now or what?
Ding,
Okay,
ding, ding,
hold on.
ding, ding,
Wait.
ding.
We have special graphics for tonight. So the pick is
Well,
in.
The pick is in.
Ooh,
Ooh, ooh, a little
Ooh,
funky, a
yeah.
little sultry for the pick being in, huh?
All right.
Who wants to do the honors?
I think
I'll do
Saul
it.
should. He studied all week.
This
All
is
right,
true.
all right.
All right.
The
Give me
Orlando
honors.
Magic with the #1 overall pick. Pick Paolo Branchero from Duke,
Hey,
power
yo.
forward, 6'10". I'll tell you what, as far as an NBA-ready body, this guy is ready to step in immediately. He's one of the thicker, more strong dudes in the draft. As a freshman at Duke, he led the team in scoring 4 out of their 5 games in the NCAA tournament. He was fantastic overall. He's going to be able to abuse smaller guys that try to guard him one-on-one. He's going to be able to take guys off the perimeter that are a little too big to guard him on the perimeter. The only thing that Paolo needs to work on, really, in my estimation, is he has a tendency to get really lackadaisical on the defensive side of the ball, falls asleep on the weak side too many times for my liking, and then his shot selection, mainly his perimeter shooting, needs to improve. But overall, I've thought long that Paolo Branchero was the best prospect in the draft, and clearly, even though there were some smoke screens regarding Jabari Smith possibly going number 1, the Orlando Magic wisened up and picked him.
Counterpoint, he went to Duke. I don't like guys that go to Duke.
I
I'm not
mean,
a big
typically I don't
believer.
either. I hate every other Duke player in this draft. It's just so a heads up, so
Okay.
you know I'm going to shit on all of them.
Good to know.
Okay.
Chris Haynes also confirmed the number 2
the
pick,
suit
which
is
we'll get
so
to.
fucking sick.
What?
I love
oh,
the
the
suit.
suit. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
I need to know what those little things are
They're
because
crystals.
they dance
Crystals.
around in the light. Are they crystals or are they diamonds? Because
They're-
these are big time guys though, like Saul said.
I also have a report to confirm. Apparently this afternoon, on the PHNX Daily Bet Show, Shane Diefenbach gave out the pick, Paolo Branchero to go number 1 overall at plus 200, and Johnny laughed at me. So, suck it, you rat.
He was just laughing at that hair. Yeah, half Oreo.
When are we going to get over this? Just get used to it.
Good.
I like the
it.
hair.
I'm a big fan.
I like the hair.
All right, so
Oh, his
We're-
hair?
we're-
His hair too.
we're getting some conflicting reports for this number 2
Ooh.
pick right now.
Ooh, I
which
like
is kinda
that.
spicy.
I
So
like that.
so
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like conflicting reports, right? It's basically a pissing match going on Twitter right now between guys going, "Oh, I got better sources than
guys,
you."
we have breaking news.
Pizza has arrived.
Oh,
Let's
yeah.
go.
Hey yo,
Yeah.
thanks.
Thank
Emma.
you to Emma.
So this is going to be a very laid-back episode of what you're used to. We're going to eat while we're on the show.
Yeah, we
We're
have
just
to.
basically we're doing a split screen thing.
It has to be. It's freaking 5 hours. What do you
Yeah.
want?
We'll ask for the viewers' sake and for the audio listeners later on. Please move the mics away from your face when you're chewing.
Oh,
Yeah, no problem.
no,
well,
it's probably
good thing
Never.
is this part of the show is not going to audio, so that's good.
Wait, hold on. I'm confused. Sly just said, I'm sorry, but Dr. Pepper might be the worst drink in the world. Where did Dr. Pepper come into the conversation?
Dr. Pepper just
He-
taking strains.
He went to school for 8 years.
I'm
I
so
mean, give the man
confused.
some credit.
I might have missed something in the chat.
I like Connor in the chat saying that the suit that Branchero was wearing is a motion capture suit. It does look like one of those.
That'd be cool. I mean, listen, everything that I've heard about him, like this quote, seasoned prospect with the upside to blossom into a star, perfectly geared for the positionless league. Like, this guy's going to be fun to watch.
Yeah, I think so too. And listen, the Orlando Magic needs some studs. They just do. And so
Mhm.
picking Paolo, it was to me was a no-brainer for them. Jabari was close. He was close, but I don't know. Something about Paolo's he has so much. He has more versatility than Jabari because he's also a playmaker. He can create for others, and he did that multiple times at Duke.
It's not Little
whereas-
Caesars.
Whereas Jabari is not quite like that. So
Look, it's a crapshoot, and Orlando has not fared well at developing young talent either. So that you got to wonder how he'll fare there just because of that. I mean, they've had a lot of.
oh, we have a
We have a
trade
trade
alert.
alert.
Oh,
What?
Jesus
You-
Christ!
Oh my God! You can't do that.
after the
Shane
number
just
1
put a
pick.
trade alert, and we all freaked out. But
Katie!
he was just testing. I was like, this
my.
just in: Kevin
Get out
Durant
of here,
has been
Shane.
traded to the Suns for Jay Crowder and
I got
nothing else.
far too excited by that accidental drop there.
Oh man.
So we still are not.
So we're
up to-
we're waiting for the broadcast to do.
Are we?
picks.
Or are we gonna?
I don't know. You
We
guys
gotta-
tell
No,
me.
I
What
think
does the
we
chat
just-
want?
hey,
Do you
listen.
want us to wait for TV to announce it?
Do you want
Or-
Woj and Sham bombs,
Well,
or do you
'cause
want
Haynes,
the broadcast?
Haynes tweeted that someone else was going number 2, then
who
deleted
did
it.
he tweet?
He tweeted that Jabari Smith was going number 2, then
Okay.
deleted it, And then Chet Holmgren came through as the number 2 pick.
As Shams is saying this.
I
trust Shams.
I don't trust Chris Haynes.
It's been Woj, and now Haynes tweeted it as well.
Wait, Woj is tweeting before it goes. I thought ESPN banned Woj from breaking the picks.
Well,
I'm just telling you the alerts that pop up on my phone.
But it's because he can't say so-and-so has gone first overall in the NBA draft. He said so-and-so remains the top choice for such and such team.
He gets his.
So he's getting the
So-and-so
creative way of saying
remains the front runner for Oklahoma City.
Really high target for so-and-so. It's all in the wording. He can't like straight up confirm it, but essentially he can. I'm still waiting for the day.
Well, Shams has said that he's going number 2, so I guess we can go ahead and say he's going number 2. So go ahead, Linz.
Chet Holmgren?
Yeah.
2nd overall pick in the 2022 NBA draft.
7'1".
Congratulations.
Kind of he's a tweener in terms of size, and that's going to be the biggest knock on him.
195.
When we saw him play against Paolo Branchero earlier in the year, Paolo physically could just dominate him. And that's going to be the biggest knock on Chet Holmgren is can he develop his body in order to be strong enough to be able to compete at the NBA level for a long period of time. He has the skills. He can shoot. He can shot block. Off-ball defense is solid, but his weaknesses are always going to be strength and then defensive versatility. One of the things that was a big plug for him was that he blocked so many shots in college.
Yeah.
However, when you're playing against the type of dudes that you're going to see in the NBA who are crafty enough to be able to stop you from blocking their shots, unlike a bunch of tweener college players, because he did play in the West Coast Conference, it's a different story. It's just a completely different story. So I'm interested to see how Chet Holmgren translates. I'm shocked that Jabari Smith is going 3. Houston just got a steal because I am going to assume that they're going to take Jabari Smith at number 3.
Look, I'm feeling like Sam Presti has a type. You got Josh Giddey, Chet Holmgren, the guy that I can't pronounce his name. He's got dorky white guy syndrome going on in Oklahoma City. Presti, you know how we all say James Jones tries to draft guys like himself in the NBA? I feel like Sam Presti is trying to draft 7-foot versions of himself in Oklahoma City. A bunch of dorky looking guys out there.
Him and Poku could be pretty nice. They're both scrawny white dudes, but they're both very skilled. And Holmgren obviously needs to get stronger, but he's 7 feet tall with a 7'6" wingspan. That'll help him at this level, especially with his perimeter skills. That team's going to be interesting. Like, those dudes definitely need to hit the weight room a lot. But that's a pretty nice duo there, and they've got some nice young pieces. Love my boy Lou Dort from Arizona State.
Well, Holmgren did have the highest block percentage of any guy in the NCAA. Now, we were talking about it, West Coast Conference competition, so take it for what it's worth. But, a lot of the stat heads out there will tell you that's one of the stats from college basketball to the NBA that transfers through. So.
What
I got in the chat. OKC roster all puts raisins in the potato salad.
Oh, no.
Oh my God. The other thing about Chet is that I want to see him. He'll be able to shore this up, I'm sure, but his release is awfully slow, and it needs to be a little bit more. It needs to be quicker. It just does. And so overall, I think he's got a little bit more to work on than the other two, but. I would also argue that he has the highest upside of the three that are probably going to go 1, 2, 3, because he can develop into a Kevin Durant type of player, or at least a Dirk Nowitzki type of player, because that length is hard to overcome.
Yeah. I'm gonna call an audible here real quick. Not on the sheet, but Sly has a great idea here. Quick 1-round soda draft. We'll go Lindsay. We'll just go in order. So okay. Lindsay gets the first pick. Coke.
Oh man. Big Red.
All right.
What?
Can I
like the chewing gum?
No, it's
number 1 overall for you, Big Red.
Yo, you guys are absolutely fools if you don't know what Big Red is.
I know what Big Red is.
I know what it is, but it wouldn't be a number 1 overall pick for me.
It's really good.
Dude, it's really good.
Can we clarify, does Lindsay get all versions of Coke, or is it just
regular Coke?
Then Coke Zero is the go-to here.
Sprite. Come on, guys.
All right.
Gonna let me win just like that?
I'm sorry.
Sprite, the most
Gonna let me
basic
win.
of sodas. Like, give me the
most
clear-
basic is
It
your
doesn't even
shit.
have
What are you talking
caffeine
about?
in
You
it.
both got
Doesn't have
Coke.
caffeine. It looks like water. It tastes like ass. Why is
No,
that
it
the
does
best?
not. You took the most basic of Cokes and somehow made it more basic by going Coke Zero. It's
Yeah.
literally a zero.
I'm
what are you
sorry.
talking
When you're
about?
a fat
You're
man, you
calling
gotta
Coke
not have the
basic?
sugar.
Coke Zero.
You're calling
and he's
Coke
judging
basic?
Coke
Sprite.
is
Yes.
kind of basic.
Coke is the most basic of all. There's a reason people in the Southwest literally refer to soda as just Coke. Because it's the
Because-
most basic.
Because it's the best.
Flat.
That's
no,
why.
No.
Yeah.
Dr. Pepper
You only
is
drink
far
Sprite when you're
superior.
sick.
No.
You only drink what?
Yeah, and it's got to be flat, right? Yeah.
Sprite?
Coke and Coke Zero is the number one
Hey,
sodas.
I
in the
picked Big
draft.
Red.
He picked Sprite.
Sprite.
Sprite's my favorite, but that's all.
Thank you.
I love that Sean's just off mic. Like,
No one
what-
took Dr.
Sean,
Pepper.
what would
It was
your
a one-round
number
shot.
one
Neither
pick
did
be?
you.
It was a one
Because I
round
like
shot.
Sprite better.
I think Sprite is good, but I just like
I love ginger.
I love ginger ale, too.
ginger ale is pretty
Yeah.
bomb.
The most slept on soda of all time, Squirt.
Squirt.
Squirt is the most slept
Squirt
on.
is pretty
I'll
good.
give you
Jabari,
that.
I won't
Jabari
lie.
Smith looks pissed that he did not go number one.
Gonna-
He looks so mad.
Gonna
All right,
dunk on
so
Chet
is-
Holmgren the
Are
first-
we
A
are
lot
we
of
going
people
official with this one or not yet?
No, I haven't seen anything.
No, I
yet.
haven't
Yeah.
seen anything.
I've seen it.
Have you?
Yeah.
Here's
Well, I mean,
Oh,
it's,
there we
it's
go.
pretty obvious.
There you go.
but
Woj already.
Go with it. Let's cue it up. Let's give the people what they want.
Yeah.
With the number
Jer-
3 pick
I mean,
in the
What?
20.
okay, just let me.
Shane's like, pump your brakes. He's like, I put in so much effort.
Yeah.
Like,
Well,
stop
That's-
raining on my
that's
Espo's
brain.
very much trying to bulldoze this thing. Shane, you put him in his fucking place. Okay.
Espo, we got like 18 more hours to
Yes.
go.
Hey, the people are demanding we beat ESPN. They're calling ESPN the Walmart version of PHNX, so let's give them a pick,
Oh.
Saul.
Oh my gosh, Jabari Smith from Auburn. I thought he had a stellar season this year. He's just super athletic, can shoot from the perimeter, probably the best shooter as a freshman to come in for quite a while. I think he's a better shooter overall from all three levels than any of the prospects. His weakness is going to be he's a little stiff in the hips. He's a little stiff in the hips and rim protection. Defensively, being able to get up and block shots has been a challenge for him. But he can shoot. His motor is always high. Defensively, he's got his hair on fire. I love what Jabari Smith brings, and I think Houston, if they're going to change their culture, you need some high energy guys and some guys that just get after it. And Jabari Smith is definitely of that ilk.
Yes, ladies of Houston, one of his weaknesses are tight hips, so just be aware
Oh my
of that.
God.
Look,
guy.
I think this is the best,
You
best
did
pick.
it too off the very top.
I think this is the best pick out of
Espo's talking about dancing.
I
It's just-
am, yeah. It's the dance floor at the clubs. Get your minds out of the gutter, people. Look, I think this is probably
Says this
one of the best
guy.
pick out of Auburn since Barkley. I mean, I think it's a pretty easy to say with him. I like his skill set, and I think Houston got a steal there.
Yeah, I'm surprised
Wesley
he fell to
Person
number
and Chuck
3.
Person would like a word.
I mean, wasn't
Yeah,
at least before the last 24 hours, wasn't he the consensus number one overall for a hot minute there?
He was.
He was.
For
So
a good amount of time.
here's some fun stuff. Over the last 72 hours, you could have gotten Banchero to go one at plus 1,600.
Oh,
Literally
man.
3 days ago, as we were saying earlier, this is by far the most volatile and craziest smoke screen of a first pick we've ever seen. Like
Wow.
that's nuts.
Do you guys remember the 2013 draft? That was the Alex Len draft for the Suns, the Anthony Bennett, number 1 overall.
Yes.
That one was insane because there were reports Alex Len was going 1 an hour before the
God,
draft.
that would have been just
Like,
so
well,
awesome.
it wasn't any worse than going with Anthony Bennett number 1. I mean, that was pretty.
Yeah, but we
awful.
might have dodged the Alex Len bullet altogether.
We would have wound up with Anthony Bennett. That's what would have happened. So it would have been just as bad.
Yeah, that draft was.
Yeah,
not
we should
great.
probably eat this pizza at some point. It's definitely not Little Caesars.
Let's start passing it around.
Yeah. I mean, plus 1,600 though. I mean,
We need your help.
we talk about the people in Vegas knowing what's going on. Shane, is that a case that they didn't know, or what do you feel like that is that swing, that it was just that crazy?
I don't think it had anything to do with the money. I think a lot of what was happening was NBA GM, specifically the Magic, probably smoke screening, trying to make people think they're going one way, either to prevent a team from drafting up or giving bad information, or they just didn't really know, and money was going certain places and at big times, and lots of money in small windows of time, and it was just moving so much.
I gotta wonder if Orlando was shopping that pick too.
Possibly.
Just that was why some of the confusion. Do we have?
We got confirmation on the number 4 pick, and it is a surprise.
Wait.
Based on what we were thinking.
No,
Can we
I
do
knew
the
this
pick is
would
in?
happen.
Can we
I
cue the
knew
pick
this
is
would
in?
happen. Let's wait for 3 more minutes. Okay, not 3 more minutes. Let's wait for 1 more minute.
One more minute.
Yeah.
Oh,
Well, now we have
Now
to
Shade's
go.
doing the ooh. Hey, can we cue it up at least? What do we got here? Is he gonna cue the trade thing just to get us excited again and not be real?
Did you get the one with the?
Oh, rip that pack open. The pick is in. Who do we got? Let's find out who this
with the
surprise
number 4
mystery man
overall
is.
pick, the Sacramento Kings pick Keegan Murray,
Wow.
power forward, Iowa.
Wow.
To me, if there was a player that James Jones absolutely would have tried to trade up for to get into a top 10 position to draft, I thought it would have been Keegan Murray,
He's a
because
bucket.
Keegan Murray is an older guy. He's 22, but Keegan Murray is ready to go. Like, he's got a great feel for the game. He can shoot from the perimeter. He's got great ball handling. I mean, this says average shooter, and I feel like that's doing a disservice to him, because he could score from all 3 levels. And the fact that he can handle the ball as a power forward speaks volumes to me.
But
Yeah,
has
I'm
he
kind of
been-
surprised this said average shooter, because everything that I heard about him was like he can go get you a bucket.
He
When you need a
can.
bucket, he's gonna get you one.
You don't have to worry about his ball handling skills and him being able to drive to the basket to get you a bucket. I just never felt like that. So I don't know who did this particular graphic, but whatever. I like
We'll
Keegan Murray,
forgive
and I told you on my in my big board, I had Keegan Murray number 1 for the Suns, because I just felt like that he was a perfect fit, especially if you didn't have to trade DA to get into the top 10. He would have been perfect fit next to DA. To me, I know there's a lot of comparisons, but I feel like he's more of like an Al Horford type. I really do. And as he develops, I think you're going to see a lot more of that.
How does he fit with Sabonis though? They just made a big move to
I
put
don't give a
Sabonis
fuck
at
about
center.
how that
Well,
happens.
I do care, because that's is this the Kings being the Kings again though, where they're just acquiring talent to
Yes,
acquire
because
talent?
a lot of people were saying that Keegan could drop 6 to 8, which is why you had him at the top for the Suns, in case the Suns were trading in and getting like 6 or 8 in this year's pick. So a lot of people were saying, when I was kind of researching this, they're like, of course the Kings are going to take him, but they could have traded back and probably got him too.
What are you feeling, Shane?
So this is hilarious, because I'm sure it's draft time, so everyone talks about the Kings and how many crazy misses they've had. It's always the next pick that ends up being the good player. You know, you had Doncic, and there's like 3 or 4 really bad ones.
There's a whole
So
bunch.
the consensus for number 4, everyone assumed, was Jaden Ivey, who I thought was the best player available here.
Right.
Do you guys think Jaden Ivey is going to be that one that got away once again for the Kings? Or-
Probably.
Of course, it's the Kings.
It's entirely possible.
Yeah.
And that Woj did tweet the Kings have no trade and plan to keep Keegan Murray. So
yes, it's the Kings.
So
the thing
R.I.P.
with-
Keegan Murray's
The thing
career.
with Jaden Ivey, though, is that you do have De'Aaron Fox.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
why double down if that's not really a position of need? But then you drafted a power forward, and you have Sabonis too. So who knows what the hell the Kings are doing?
They just went from having two guards in Halliburton and Fox, and they got off that. So I get not wanting to go Ivy here. I thought they'd trade it for sure, because this is a team that needs a lot. They're trying to figure out who they are, and that 4th pick is attractive, but they keep it, and they take Murray here. I think Ivy will be pretty good, and he has the best nickname in the draft as Poison Ivy.
One player that definitely this definitely affects, because I've seen a lot of mock drafts have Bennedict Mathurin from U of A was projected to go to the Detroit Pistons, but now he's not, because we have the pick.
Wait, what's happening?
Oh yeah,
We have the
the
Pistons.
pick is officially in.
It's Ivy, right?
Yeah, no, I know Keegan Murray is drafted there, but the Detroit Pistons have picked Ivy. Ivy.
Is that based on
Jaden
reports,
Ivey?
or you just
That's
have a gut
Woj.
feeling?
No, that's
no,
Woj.
All right.
Woj tweeted that out, and so yeah, I have it right here.
So you know what we can do, which would be really fun?
What can we do?
What if we, instead of doing the pick is in when the last team's pick is still in right now, what if we
Wait until the next
What if we
team's pick
say
is
it's
halfway
looking
in?
like Jaden Ivey's probably going to go, and then when the pick is in, we can do this?
Well, the problem with that is that the chat has already found out because they're also watching this broadcast at the
yeah,
same
well,
time.
we're all just chilling. It's fine.
It's all good. So
It's
Jaden
fine.
Ivey
She's
from
just freaking out
Purdue
behind the
going number 5 overall. Jaden Ivey's comparison, and this isn't because of his hairstyle, it's because of his athletic ability and his bounce and his ability to be able to score. And he's a score first point guard, much like the comparison is Ja Morant. And I think if there's any player that mimics Ja Morant in this draft, it would definitely be Jaden Ivey. If you've ever watched him play, he's very athletic. He tries to dunk on people. He gets to the rim. He can score at 3 different levels. His outside shooting is a little suspect, but he did improve from one year to another the last year. So, I like Jaden Ivey. I think he was definitely the most explosive point guard in the draft.
Let me ask this: Detroit is a team that we've heard has interest in DeAndre Ayton.
Mm-hmm.
Is a team that could be a partner.
Are we
in
getting
a
Jaden Ivey? Is that
a
what you're saying,
three-team
Espo?
sign and trade. Could Jaden Ivey be a guy that James Jones and the Suns
Listen,
like as the point guard of the
if
future?
it came right after the Kings, I'm on board because it always seems to work out well. I'm on board.
Look,
I'll
we
do
got
it.
to put on our tinfoil hats because you can't make a DA trade tonight, right?
Right.
So you got to try to connect the dots.
Yep.
This is a team that all we've heard all week has it for DA. They want DA. DA's in.
And the question has been all week, what are they going to give back? What do they have?
The only problem, and Gerald, I'm sure, is going to back me up on this, is even with Jaden Ivey, it's just very hard to envision a sign-and trade scenario now that Jerami Grant is out of the picture with the Suns because they don't really have too many assets that they would want to give up. You have Cade Cunningham, which salary-wise is still not going to match up to what they're going to offer DA. So I don't really know what they have to offer.
There has to be a third team involved.
And they have Cade Cunningham and Jaden Ivey now, which
but
is
can't they absorb
also
contracts?
What do you mean? Well,
Since they have the cap space.
They have a ton of cap space, so they can absorb contracts. The problem is, what are you going to give back to the Suns to get to that?
It's not about the Detroit Pistons.
Even
It's about
that
the Suns.
threshold to match. Like, you don't have to match that much salary because DA's outgoing only counts as like $15.25 million, but you still have to get there. Like, they're not giving up Cade Cunningham, like maybe Killian Hayes, but if you have Jaden Ivey and you have Cade Cunningham, you're going to try to just throw the bag at DA, throw the bag at other free agents, and hope that nobody matches for them.
But this is, for me, Detroit's the team that I think could facilitate something with the Nets if that's the direction you go.
Right.
Because then you can have a 3-team deal with the Nets and Detroit. That I feel like Detroit is that middleman in any deal that the Suns might make.
I mean, I'm just saying it's not out of the realm of possibility.
No.
How realistic is it that it's going to happen? Who knows? But it's not outside the realm of possibility.
Well, no, and I think we have to play this what-if game with any of these teams that have been rumored to be interested in DeAndre Ayton tonight because we don't know. We don't know of what this could look like, what conversations they've had. You brought up, could those Cam Johnson conversations that reportedly happened been more of a smokescreen to really gauge what they'd be interested in a DA trade to kind of say, hey, we like this guy, kind of stuff. There's a lot coming up that's going to be interesting over the next week and a half that likely will involve some of these guys drafted tonight.
I'll tell you what, guys. Let's just take a pizza break because everybody in the
Yeah,
chat
Felix
is
is
freaking
like,
out.
stop, just eat, stop resisting.
They do not like the fact that we are about to eat cold pizza. I just have a good authority just to everybody. It's still warm.
Also, a lot of people have been asking where the pizza's from. It's not Little Caesars. It's Federal Pizza, which I believe is a local company over off of Central and like Camelback area, a little north of that.
Yep.
Super bomb. We didn't get this one tonight, but the one, I don't remember what it's called, but whatever the pizza is that has the corn on it, highly recommend. One of my favorite pizzas ever.
All right,
So,
the pick is in. Which slices did you all take?
pepperoni.
Wow,
Pepperoni.
we went pepperoni across the board.
Yeah, you got to start with a pepperoni.
I mean, I think that's a good call.
It's a
I got to
solid
pace myself
move,
for
you know?
China chili. Jesus
I'm,
Christ.
I'm scared by that.
I
think
should have brought some floss. I completely forgot.
I think China chili might be the draft bust of what we're doing here. That may take us all down tonight.
Coda
On
Kid
a
said,
draft
y'all really
night.
just let that pizza sit like that. Palm to
It's
their
still
head
good,
emoji.
Coda.
It
Trying to
is.
provide you with content.
Are you guys ready for some PHNX ASMR right now of us chewing pizza? This is what it sounds like.
Jaden Ivey is absolutely losing it on the draft too. By the way, he's emotional.
I love that though.
I do too. That's awesome.
They should feel like that. This is the culmination of one of their
course he
biggest
should.
life goals.
Someone just told him he has to go to Detroit.
For now.
Also, let's go back to this, okay? There is no way anybody can convince me that DA actually would want to go live in Detroit. My guy has lived in the Bahamas, Phoenix.
Don't
then
even.
down
Don't
to
even.
Tucson.
Tucson
Yeah.
sucks.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
Detroit
Tucson
of
sucks.
Arizona.
Tucson sucks.
Tucson does not suck. If you've
No, it
never
really
lived in
doesn't.
Tucson, you can't tell
I've
me that
lived in
Tucson
Tucson
sucks.
for 5 years.
The
Tucson sucks.
campus, especially the campus.
No,
Campus is top notch.
it is.
But anything outside of that
Hold on,
is garbage.
South Tucson, sure.
Yeah.
There's a reason that they
I lived in
separated that
Tucson.
from Tucson.
I lived in
Downtown
Tucson for
is getting better,
I lived in
but no.
Tucson for 3 years,
Hard
and I
pass.
loved it. I loved every bit of it, and I lived in Tempe for 5. I fucking hated Tempe compared
Tempe
to Tucson.
sucks too.
I mean, so I think Tucson is great, and then you came back up here to Phoenix. My point is, Lindsay, is that they're all warm weather places. Nobody wants to go freeze their ass off in Detroit playing for a team that might only win 25 games this year. No effing way.
Max money makes people do stupid things. The chance to be one of the guys makes people do stupid things. That can make Detroit look nice in some people's minds.
All right, so Jonathan Wasserman on Twitter just tweeted out. I just spit. My bad.
Why did you tweet that?
No, that was me.
Oh,
Didn't talk to one NBA person all year that had Murray going over Ivy. Kings are either brilliant or reckless.
both.
So
They're reckless.
Brilliantly reckless.
Kang's gonna Kang, right?
Hangs.
I still really like Keegan. I still think he's a solid player, but
Not
again,
anymore.
But there was like a consensus top 4,
yeah.
and of course it's the Kangs that.
Listen,
zag.
we're not the only people. There are tons of people on Suns Twitter right now being like, Jaden Ivey is a Phoenix Sun.
Well,
Oh my
So,
God.
like I said, it's not outside of the realm of possibility. It's just a little bit out there. That's all you just gotta have faith.
PDog006 with the super chat, $2.69. Pretty
Wait.
specific.
Oh, we have
DA to Detroit, they better give us Jaden Ivey.
look,
And
we
then,
have a number 6.
and
pick
then, hold on. Jay hit us with a $49.99
Oh,
super
damn, son.
chat.
Oh.
Shout out Jay. Said y'all can't eat pizza without wings. Y'all have the best Suns coverage, plain and simple.
Jay,
Thank you, Jay.
much
Jay.
appreciated.
Jay.
Appreciate
Jay's,
you, Jay.
Jay's he's a
Jay's a
diehard,
homie.
also
Oh, yes, he is.
very much a homie, always following us on social. Appreciate you.
So
Love
we
it, man.
we did debate getting wings, but here's the thing: I felt like eating wings is too aggressive for this type
Jacob,
of a
get
setting
some
you
off
went with
camera.
China chili afterwards?
because you use a fork. Wings is like
oh,
fingers
like
and
not
then like
aggressive, as in okay.
it's a
I see.
lot that I feel like I didn't want to make people watch. Do you- Hi, Jacob's the back of Jacob's head.
That's the world's worst camera shot. Thanks, Jacob.
SVO said, y'all Tucson haters are dead to me.
real.
Listen, I grew up in Sierra Vista, which is
See, Sierra
basically,
Vista sucks.
yeah, it's worse than Tucson, but Tucson is like North Sierra Vista to me.
No,
It's
it's
like,
not.
no, thank
It's
you.
not even close.
It's
Oh my
close
God.
enough.
When I go to Sierra Vista, I'm like, I contemplate life. When I go to Tucson, it's like, it's just chill. It's just so chill. And the temperature drops down. Like, oh, whoa. Okay, so, yeah. That's,
I disagree.
Well, so Indiana has a pick,
Mm-hmm.
which means this is another guy that could be a potential sign and trade option.
Ooh, Saul's gonna be
DA,
so
right?
happy.
Although I think in this specific scenario, it's unlikely. Because with the number 6 pick in the draft, it is the one, the only, the best player in the draft, Bennedict Mathurin from the University of Arizona. Not the best player in the draft, but Bennedict
your
Mathurin.
eyes.
I've watched him multiple times. I absolutely love him so much. His bounce and his athleticism is absolutely sneaky. It's absolutely sneaky, and you saw it in the tournament when he yacked all over TCU's center. He can shoot from the perimeter, and he developed He developed so much from his freshman year to his sophomore year, mostly because he didn't have to deal with shitty Sean Miller. And so I just love this kid. I think what he brings to the table is elite. He's going to develop even more. I think he's a little bit of a more athletic Ben Gordon, if you will, because he's got similar step back moves. He can get to the rim. I just absolutely love Bennedict Mathurin.
What do you think about the comp to a prime Victor Oladipo?
Not bad. Not a bad comp at all. I think that's a fair comp for sure.
Yep.
Again, the difference is that I feel like Bennedict Mathurin has a higher ceiling than Victor Oladipo, to be honest with you. Yeah. I think he can extend the floor. You saw him be able to take over games too in the tournament. Like he has that it factor, and he's got swag. He's just got swag. Look at his outfit. He's just got swag. Nice.
What do you think about the comp to Jamal Crawford?
Not even close.
No,
not his handle's not elite like Jamal Crawford. Jamal Crawford's got one of the best handles of all time in the NBA. Bennedict Mathurin not there. Ben's going to be a straight 2. He's not going to be a 1. He might be able to handle the ball a little bit here and there, but he's not going to be a 1. He's much like Devin Booker. Like this is the athleticism I'm talking about, just yakking on dudes. You know what I mean? Like Devin Booker is not a 1. He's a 2, but he can handle the ball in some spot minutes here and there. That's exactly what Bennedict Mathurin can do.
You love yourself some DA. If you got an Arizona guy in return, would you feel a little bit better?
No.
All right. Just had to ask.
No, I mean, like, listen, if we got Bennedict Mathurin in a trade with the Indiana Pacers in exchange for DA, that doesn't make us any closer to the title contender. Arizona be damned or not. You know what I mean? Like, I want to win a championship. Bennedict Mathurin's not going to get you a championship in the next couple of years.
I'm just trying to make sure you have a U of A guy on the roster.
Oh, I feel you. I feel you. But my bias is not blind like that.
P-Dog in the chat said TJ Warren 2.0 NBA comp for Benedict.
Oh, no.
Like have head injuries constantly?
Absolutely not. No.
Okay. Sorry, P-Dog. There's your answer.
No, we gave you a couple P-Dog 006. NBA comp, Ben Gordon or Victor Oladipo. Those two. Are pretty similar. So
yeah, because Mathurin's a better shooter than TJ Warren was really efficient around the basket, but he didn't have a jumper outside the mid range.
No, and he didn't have the athleticism that Bennedict Mathurin had.
He might have been a wildcat, but he is a dog.
Yes, absolutely.
Well done, Shane.
Well said.
I liked it.
I'm sure he has more personality than TJ Warren too, because that guy had absolutely no.
I remember the first time I ever had to talk to TJ Warren, and I was stunned at how few words one man could say.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. If you could have negative words, he would have negative words.
He was the one who taught me early in my journalism career, you better have like 5 questions lined up just in case no one steps in and he just answers with 2 or 3 words.
Yeah,
you got to have some in the chamber for that dude. You got to be on your feet prepared.
It has been 8 minutes. Since any of the guys have tweeted.
Oh God, I thought you might have been.
It's only been.
No.
Wait, did
I tell you what?
Just go
I
now?
won my bet. I won my fucking bets.
I thought you were saying we've only been on air for 8 minutes.
Can we do it? Are we ready for the number 7 pick? Oh, I know who it is.
Poor Shane. We're just like.
I'll just pull it up when I can find it.
I got you. I'll give you some time. With the number 7 overall pick, the Portland Trail Blazers have selected Shaedon Sharpe from Kentucky, who I had on the DraftKings Sportsbook app as being drafted in the top 7 because it was a 7.5. Boom, he comes in at number 7. It's like they fucking know.
Yep.
Shaedon Sharpe,
a lot, right?
Shaedon Sharpe.
You do like him.
I'll give you the weaknesses and the problem with Shaedon Sharpe is the fact that he did not play in college. That's basically the only problem with me right now. Number 2, he is probably the best prospect in the draft talent-wise. The only reason why he dropped to 7 is because people were concerned about his injury. And so I love Shaedon Sharpe. He can score at every single level. He's also got insane elite athletic ability. He can go get the ball at any point in the sky. He can shoot from the perimeter. He can score in a variety of different ways. The only thing is we didn't get to see him play in college, and that's the biggest knock on him right now, is that we didn't get to see him play against elite competition, at least at that level.
So there's upside, but it's also unknown.
It's a gamble. But I will say this right now, for the Portland Trail Blazers to pull off the Jerami Grant trade and the moves that have been rumored around this team to try and build around Damian Lillard, bringing in a guy like Shaedon Sharpe as a possible number 2 beside Damian Lillard, The Blazers all of a sudden are reemerging as a contender once again.
You brought up the injury concern. I find it interesting that he may have slipped a little bit because earlier this week Woj said for the first time in a long time there were no red flags when reviewing medicals for these guys going into the draft.
He's healthy now.
Yeah, but there's no long-term concern or anything.
No.
Okay, you didn't see him play a game in college, but you can project. I have a feeling you have a pretty good feel where this guy ranks up against this competition that he would have played against.
Yeah, I mean, he would have been the best player on Kentucky this year. He would have, and he was the number one. He was the number one prospect coming into the season, but then he got injured. So again, like Shaedon Sharpe, I really, really like what he brings to the table.
There has been some rumors that Portland and Toronto have been discussing a trade there for
OG.
Thank you. I was going to say Siakam. That wasn't right. It was OG there. You got to wonder, is this potentially a trade piece there as well? Because Portland seems like a team that is in complete flux, that they're willing to do anything to make them a playoff-bound team, a potential contender, because Dame is looking for that. So it would not shock me if they dangle him to try to get somebody else.
Yeah, it's entirely possible. They were also mentioned as a potential DA sign and trade landing spot, but if you've missed our last couple shows, we've talked about why that doesn't really make a lot of sense. Their recent reports have come out. They want to hold on to Yusuf Nurkic and retain him. He's also a restricted free agent or a free agent this summer, so a DA deal would require a double sign and trade, which is not even going to be a thing.
Double sign and trade.
Don't even get me started on the math on that. So I do like this pick, though, for the Blazers. I'm not as high on them yet. I think they'll be a better team than they were this season, obviously. But you get there by just having Dame healthy, honestly. So they'll be another pesky team, probably flirting with one of those play-in spots as of right now. But it'll be interesting to see what they're able to do to build around Dame, because obviously patience is running out with that whole situation.
Interesting point in the chat that this is another guy coming out of Canada.
Mm-hmm.
We did not see that a lot in the 90s, early 2000s. How much, and we really can't tell, but I want your opinion, how much of this do you think is the impact of what Steve Nash did as Captain Canada and a generation of kids that would have grown up in a time frame where they may have seen Steve play and gravitate towards basketball in part?
I don't know necessarily if it was Steve Nash. I just think that the influx of kids, I mean, because you got also go all the way back to Andrew Wiggins and Anthony Bennett, even though he was a bust. There were starting to be a lineage of players coming from Canada. You just have back-to-back players that came from Canada.
Yeah.
Like that's just, it's phenomenal. And so, listen, Canada is somewhere to be reckoned with when it comes to basketball. And so, I don't know. I maybe Steve Nash probably has a little bit of an impact on it, but I think more than that is probably the Toronto Raptors. I
That's
mean,
fair.
think about Vinsanity when that all took off and took it to a whole nother level before Steve Nash really even got into his prime. So
R.I.P. Vancouver Grizzlies.
Did you guys know that Jaden Ivey, not to go back to Jaden, but we're going to do that. Did you know his mom played in the W?
I did not.
And his father was an NFL.
That's super dope.
He was
I love
in the NFL
that.
for 5 years. They both played for 5 years in the pros. So super athletic genes.
Yeah.
Great.
That's awesome.
We do have confirmation on the number 8 pick, by the way.
Do it,
We
Gerald.
do.
Shane, Shane.
There
Cue
we
graphic.
go.
Tell us, Gerald, who is it?
The pick is
Australia's Dyson Daniels stands at the top of New Orleans draft board at number 8 per Woj.
Heyo.
Dyson
Daniels. Dyson Daniels is an interesting prospect. Can't shoot for shit, but he can do a lot of other things great. It says weakness is feel for the game, but I will say this. You can't have a feel for the game and also be a playmaker. It just does not
Well,
work.
it says strength feel for the game,
Yeah.
weakness feel for
Yeah,
the game.
I don't get that at all.
Who
Again,
made these
our
graphics?
graphics department needs a little bit of help. I know.
It wasn't
I know.
Shane,
It wasn't
everybody.
Shane. It wasn't Sean. It's okay. We'll tweak it. But I will say this: Dyson Daniels is
Oh,
a
it was
very
Sean's
very
fault.
solid.
So is it a weakness or is it a strength?
It's a strength. It's a strength. Okay. You got tremendous feel for the game. Very good playmaker. he likes to get everybody else involved. He's one of those players that tries to set up his own move to set up others' moves so they can score. He's not very confident in his shot. He's still got a lot of work to go. And defensively, he gets after it as well. There's one other guard that I liked in this draft, and I'm sure he's going to get drafted here in the next 4 picks, so I won't bury the lead. That I think were the 2 best defensive guards in this draft. He is one of them. I really like what this guy brings to the table.
A G League elite.
I do like that
alum
he
there.
took the G League route. I
Yeah.
think that's kind of cool because that was the whole purpose. They were trying to revamp that, if you will, to sort of encourage players to take that route if they wanted to.
This was another pick the Suns were rumored to have had interest in and trading for. Do you think this would be a James Jones type of guy?
No, I don't think so.
I don't think so either.
I think
with
he's
the shooting.
He's too much of a project. And again, like we talked about we've been talking about this whole offseason. What do the Suns need? They need another guy that can create his own shot. This is not that kid.
Plus, he's too young. He's 19. I don't
Yeah.
think they would be.
Yeah. James Jones doesn't like
just as
anybody that's under
insane.
21.
Yeah.
He has 2 good hips. I mean, so it's not.
Jesus Christ.
Wow.
I love you, Cam.
Wow. How rude.
Yeah.
I'm mad at
I'm
you.
sorry. I besmirched your sweet baby angel.
Should be.
Forgive me.
We're kind of flying through this thing right now.
We
You-
are.
We're
y'all
8
wanna
picks
take
in
a-
50 minutes.
You want to take a little bit of a break from the pick is in and play a game?
Hell
Sure.
yeah.
No, we'll do prospect or not. Then we'll bring
Okay.
this up.
Are we ready for that, Shane? Prospect or not? Let's get it. I have picked 3 prospects, which you can choose which ones are actual prospects, and one of them is not.
So 2 real, 1 fake.
2 are real, one of them is fake.
All right,
Let's go
chat,
with
help
the
us
first
out.
one. Let's go. We have Luke Travers, Nikola Kalinic, and Nikola Jovic.
I'm calling Luke
Okay.
Travers as the fake guy.
Okay.
I'm going to go.
I'm gonna go Kalinic.
Yeah, Nikola Kalinic. Is that how you pronounced it?
That
Maybe
is how
I'm
you pronounce
overthinking
it,
it.
and you 2 would be correct.
Yes.
Luke Travers is an actual draft prospect. Nikola Kalinic is not. He's a 30-year-old European player. He's not.
You almost
He's
got
not.
me with the Travers because he's wearing that like NASCAR jersey.
I know. There's another one in here that I was like, what the hell jersey is that?
I'm looking at that going, I can't see that guy in the NBA. That was why it was my guess. So
All right, next one. We have Keita Bates-Diop, Khalifa Diop, or Musa Diabete.
Are we doing
It's not
current
Musa.
prospects
That's
or
real.
What's that?
Musa's real.
Okay.
for the draft this year?
I'm going to go.
Bates Diop is not a prospect.
Yeah, that was my guess too.
Okay.
because
What are
he
you going
was
with,
a
Lindsay?
I feel like I should follow the group on this one. I'm going to be a follower.
Okay,
he was
you
a
were right
former
because he's
NBA
actually a current NBA player.
There you go.
So that's he's not a prospect. So he actually came out the same year that Deandre Ayton came out in 2018.
Mhm.
All right, next one we have Jaden Shackelford, Javon Quinterly, or Javon Freeman. Which
Oh,
one of these
man.
is not a prospect? This is a tough one.
Yeah,
I'm gonna
this
say
is-
Javon Kinnerly
Okay.
because that head almost looks photoshopped on that body, or it's a really bad photo.
All right.
I don't know.
Javon Freeman. I don't know.
Okay.
I'm gonna go Shackelford.
Ooh. All right. Espo was correct.
Oh wow.
Javon Quinterly is not coming out in the draft, but he will next year. I'm sure of it because he will be a senior at the University of Alabama.
And
The
the
other two
world's
are.
worst photo. That looked
Yeah,
like a
yeah.
fake
So
photo.
Javon Quinterly actually committed to the University of Arizona, and then the whole FBI thing came down because of Quinterly, and he bounced and went to Villanova, played a year, transferred to Alabama, and now he's playing.
Did
with
he
the
get the
said,
100,
I'm just gonna
100K
make a
that
messy
DA
dip.
did?
No, he did not.
He did not get the 100K.
Nobody
DA?
got 100K,
Okay.
Espo.
Damn it.
Can
All
I
right.
have 100K?
Fanbo Zhang, Victor Wembanyama, or Ziga Samar. Which one is not the prospect?
Zika Samar looks like he's 12. Like he should be on the Slovenian junior team. I'm going with him.
Okay.
I'm going with Victor.
Victor, okay.
I'm going to go Fanbo.
Fanbo, okay. Gerald is correct. Victor
Dang.
Wembanyama is the number one projected prospect for next year. Next year.
Hold on, you're telling me Ziga Samar is actually
He
a
is a
prospect in this
prospect.
draft?
Yep.
He's the top 100 prospect, yes.
Top 100. Okay.
Oh, we went all the way down to
I went deep into the prospect list.
So G League or
Yes.
Europe is what you're saying. All
I had to
right.
scour the internet just for
Okay,
the photo.
There you go. All right. Next one.
Oh, we got more. All right.
All right. This is the last one. Charles O'Bannon Jr., Kenneth Lofton Jr., or Vince Williams Jr.
Gerald's gotten 2 in a row, I feel like, so I'm going to go with Gerald's pick on this one.
Of course you are.
Yep.
Always takes the easy way.
I'm
out.
going Kenneth
That's
Lofton
the
Jr.
smart way.
He's got the Pillsbury Doughboy body, the Espo special. I don't think that's NBA ready. I don't know.
Okay, all right.
See, those 2 photos on the left are just too fantastic to not be.
Charles
I'm
O'Bannon,
going. I'm going Vince Williams Jr. He looks too inconspicuous there.
what is O'Bannon Jr. doing? Is he doing a dance or is that a
I don't know.
dribble?
John,
He's like-
John
what
in the
was
chat
the- what
says
was the,
O'Bannon.
Like kind of doing the Carlton, but
Yeah.
like lower.
Yeah. What are you
The
going
lower
with, Lindsay?
Carlton.
Shoot, I don't know. There's the 3 people in the chat that have commented all pick different people.
Yeah.
So
That's how you
I'm
know
gonna
it's a good game.
go. There's 2 O'Bannon, so I'll do O'Bannon.
Okay. Lindsay is correct.
Yes,
it is Charles
let's
O'Bannon
go.
Jr.
Thank you,
Kenneth
chat.
Lofton looks like Charles Barkley
Okay.
put on a wig to get back in the draft.
I can't believe you've never seen highlights of him.
Yes.
Dude is a dog.
A beast. He's
I-
an
You'd
absolute
have
beast.
to be if you were that big.
I've,
that dog in
I've,
him.
I've bet on a couple Louisiana Tech games. The man is crazy.
Yeah. He actually dropped a 35-21 game this year, too. So.
Is he Kenny Lofton's kid?
He is
U of A
Kenneth Lofton's
great
Yep,
Kenny
absolutely,
Lofton?
Yeah.
Oh, we do have Shane. We need your graphic, Shane, because the number 9 pick.
How big is he?
Well, I'm not sure I'm going to be able to pronounce this.
Oh, I got
Go
you.
ahead.
You want me to do it?
How
No,
do
you
you
got it.
sing
I've
it? I don't
been
see
practicing
it.
this.
Okay, you got it.
All right. With the 9th overall pick,
Oh.
the San Antonio Spurs select Jeremy Sochan
Nice.
from Baylor. I don't like Jeremy Sochan at all.
Why?
I don't. I feel like he's limited
Spicy.
athletically. He doesn't really impress me athletically at all. He can shoot a little bit. In the off ball, he's good. He's solid overall, but I just think defensively he's good because every Baylor player comes out is good defensively. I just don't like his game. I feel like he's a poor man's Kyle Kuzma, and that's not really a great thing to be.
His weakness is he looks like the NBA's version of Slim Shady. Like what?
Or Cisco.
What is going on there? Well, the way you described him, he sounds like the perfect Spurs player.
He's
Pop loves
Yeah.
guys like
Yeah,
that.
that's true.
Yeah.
he kind of seems like, as far as draft comparisons, I keep seeing like Ben Simmons, Draymond Green, like these playmaking 4s type of guy.
I mean, I hedge to ever put anybody in Draymond Green's category defensively because
Right.
the intangibles are just all over the place, right? So you played 1 year at Baylor. That doesn't tell me enough about you. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So
What
Which is fair.
Josh in the chat goes, that's just Sean DePaz.
yeah, we Photoshop Sean Deposit here.
That's great.
Oh, that's
much
quality.
swag his
I
way
mean,
to
I
the
like
top
the
10.
hair. I'm on board with
Of
it.
all the guys that could potentially be a Sun, because the Spurs are talking about the DA sweepstakes and the Pistons and the Pacers, this is the least exciting of all of them.
So it's gonna happen.
I
Jakob
know.
Poeltl and this
For
dude
sure.
for DA.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, DeJounte Murray's salary fits nicely in a DA signing.
Oh,
trade.
well,
I'm just gonna
okay.
Hey, now-
if you throw
now
him
you
in
piqued
there,
my
That
interest.
that changes a little bit. I'm
Yeah.
okay with that.
Jakob
at
and
that point.
DeJounte, welcome to Phoenix. I take that.
I can't believe that happened today.
I do think so. The report said that, like, you know, the Hawks and the Spurs, for those who missed it, Hawks and Spurs were talking a John Collins, DeJounte Murray trade. The Spurs were expecting a Drew Holiday type package, which means a good amount of picks, good amount of talent. I honestly think, though, this time of year, it's not easy to tell who's floating information, but that sounds like the type of thing that would come from the Hawks to drive up the price of John Collins. Like, oh, we're talking about getting a potential all-star, current and potential future all-star for John Collins. Like, you guys better up your offers. If he is available for John Collins, though, the Suns need to be all over that.
Wait. John Eric in the chat, not a prospect. LOL.
So you're telling me that Atlanta is acting like the real estate agent at the open house? It's like,
Yeah.
we've got 6 offers right now.
Yes.
This house isn't going to last through the end of the day.
I honestly wouldn't be surprised, because I'd be shocked if the Spurs are considering that trade unless there's a lot more involved. I do think if he is available in terms of DA sign-in trades, that's about as good as you're going to
You
get.
guys are bearing the DeJounte lead. He posted a picture today on his Twitter of him wearing New Balance shoes.
He did.
He
got a
did you
deal.
acquire him?
I think so.
Shane loves him
Shane's
now.
traded for DeJounte Murray. All right.
And we also do have the The number 10 pick.
Oh,
That is
number
in.
10 pick. Cue it up.
So fast.
So fast.
Yeah, the pick is in.
I don't.
Oh
Fast.
boy. Now
Jesus
we're on
Christ.
hour 2. Hour
Sports
2
already made
just
this shit
started.
I don't
And here
like
we
that at
go.
all. With the number 10 pick, the Wizards are taking Wisconsin's Johnny Davis.
And I said there was 2 defensive guards that I think were the best in the draft. Johnny Davis is the second one for sure. Johnny Davis is a hybrid point guard, shooting guard. He's not great at a lot of things. He's good at a lot of things, except defensively. Defensively, he's going to get up in you. He's absolutely going to defend at a high level. He's NBA ready defensively, in my opinion. He's just very, very good. Playmaking-wise, still a little bit more development needed there. But when you have Bradley Beal, if Bradley Beal stays with the Wizards, then you're in position to not really have to do too much offensively. So I like Johnny Davis. I thought if the Suns were able to get a trade and they were able to acquire Johnny Davis, that would definitely not be a bad backup point guard for Chris Paul.
Johnny Davis looks like a photocopy of Devin Booker in that photo. I have bad eyes, so I don't know. It could be just that, but he does look a lot
This
like
man
it.
is just bagging on these kids
I know every
for
single
one
kid.
photo.
He's like, this guy looks like this. This guy looks like this.
But real quick, did you guys see Jeremy just walk up on stage on the actual draft
Sochan?
show? Yeah. His outfit, his whole look, perfect.
Really?
Loved it. He had like a lavender light purple suit on with a black turtleneck. Like some chains, but not overly grand. It was kind of a more like modest look. And then the hair. And it all looked so good together. I think he might be one of my best dressed for the night.
Ooh.
Also, one thing about Johnny Davis, for every Suns fan out there who absolutely loves Money's system, he's a mid-range assassin, just like Devin Booker and CP3. So if you want a lot of the same, Johnny Davis would be your guy.
I don't.
So Ryan G agrees with me. He says, they say he looks like Book. Well, they be me, because I say he looks like Book too. We're being told to look at Flex's Twitter account. So let's pull up our boy Flex from Jersey.
We should
here.
have a
See what
flex
he's
graphic.
saying. He said, Jeremy going to the Spurs at 9. Keep an eye on that going forward.
Jesus Christ.
the guy Saul said he didn't want.
The one guy. Are we serious right now?
The chat literally said, way to go, Saul. Now he's going to be a Sun.
Jesus.
So way to go, Saul.
I called him a freaking Eminem look-alike. Yeah, so I think we have our first guest of the night. I believe former Phoenix Suns center and a friend of the program, Stephen Hunter, going to be joining us here. Stephen, how are you, my man?
How y'all doing? Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
We're good.
Glad
All right, great to see you guys.
Yeah, glad to have you here. Before we get into talking about your draft experience, your thought on the Suns, I got to ask you about the Jug Life softball game. You showed some power yesterday. You went deep, and you called it too.
Hey man, yeah, my daughter was at the game, and I had texted my wife before I went up to bed. I said, "Look, Zoe's here, so I'm gonna try to hit a home run for her," and I guess it worked out. I got lucky.
When you watch this NBA draft, like what's going through your head as these kids are getting picked?
Shit, who the hell are these guys? Seriously, man. Some kid Sharp got drafted fresh off of the AAU circuit, haven't seen him play. So yeah, I mean, I've seen a couple of these guys, but it's a dream come true for them. I mean, obviously they're some of the top athletes in the country. And you have to be a special athlete, special person to even be considered for the NBA. So you have to respect all these kids. So I'm just happy for them, looking at just their families and their expressions and their emotions that they're showing. So it's a dream come true. So I'm happy.
If DA gets traded, you got a few good minutes left in you, or what?
Hey, I got a hard 8 minutes, man. I got 6 fouls. Sign me to a league minimum. That's all I need, baby.
Let's go.
Steven, the draft's changed a lot since your time in the league. Walk us through your draft night experience? What was that like, and how is it different back then compared to what these kids, all the pageantry and all that of the draft night now?
Yeah, good question. So when I came out after my sophomore year at DePaul, I was probably projected like a late first round pick, but I thought that I could improve my stock if I just work hard during the season. I got to work hard during the off season. I got a great trainer in Tim Grover after I left after my sophomore year, and we worked out hard 2-3 times a day. And I ended up going to the NBA pre-draft camp, and fortunately, I got MVP of that camp, so that really boosted my stock to probably like the middle of the first round, maybe even 10 to 15. And then I went on 15 different workouts. I worked out for the Orlando Magic, Seattle, when they had a team, a lot of different teams, 15, 16 different workouts. And fortunately, I wasn't invited to the green room to the draft, so I had my draft at the ESPN Zone in Chicago, and so I had my family there, my friends there. It was just a great experience, and initially I thought I was gonna go. I would say maybe even I think I was number like 9 to Detroit, or was it? It might have been 6. It was some. You guys remember a guy named Rodney White back in the day?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Rodney White, right? So if Rodney was projected to go top 5 and he slid down, but I remember having a workout with Detroit, and Joe Dumars said, "Don't be surprised if we call your name." So I was hoping that Rodney went a little bit higher, because if he did, I was their second choice. I could have been a 6th pick, but I didn't fall, but I was fortunately drafted by Doc Rivers, number 15 in Orlando, and just changed my life. It was life changing. Just for one, just not have enough money to buy yourself a sandwich in the college cafeteria, to all of a sudden being a millionaire was pretty life changing. And then just a dream come true. Just to be able to play on the biggest stage, and it's definitely life changing. So it was a good experience.
All right.
Can I ask one real quick here?
Yeah, that's fine.
We saw a lot of the draft suits that were from today.
That's
some
what
of the
I was
past.
gonna ask.
You go ahead then, Lindsay. Go
Well,
ahead.
I was just basically, now that you see what people wear on draft night, if you had to go back, what would your style look like nowadays if you were getting drafted in like 2022?
Well, I definitely wouldn't wear those bell-bottom pants that we were wearing back in the early 2000s. The early 2000s, those big baggy suits were in style.
Mm-hmm.
And I was one of the culprits, man. I had the 4X linen suit on, a la LeBron. Remember, he had that on his draft. But I would probably tighten it up a little bit. But it's just the times, man. Like, you were styling back in 2001 when you had a big baggy suit on. But I look at some of those pictures and I was like, wow, that thing is like 3 times my size. Like,
Yeah.
Which is saying a lot for a big guy like you, 3 times your size.
3 times my size. The baggier, the better back then. Seriously, our pants legs were so wide, it was ridiculous.
What's the craziest thing that happened backstage during the draft, like, for you? Like, was there a story that you're like, oh?
No. I mean, I just remember the pressure. I would probably say starting at like pick number 12. As soon as they were starting to go on stage, like, I would get all these news cameras come and get in my face, like maybe 15, 20 news cameras. They all come, put the camera right on me. And then right when they call someone else's name, it's like, up, they come unplugging stuff, moving away, turning the lights off. And so it got to be like, I was like hoping I got drafted at 15, because it would have been one of those stories where, like, this kid is expected to get drafted and he fell to the second round and not drafted at all. And so it's just a lot of pressure, because a lot of people are there ready to celebrate you get drafted. And I really feel for those who don't get their name called. So that was probably one of the craziest stories for me.
All right, Steven, I gotta ask you. We'll move to the Suns a little bit here. After that second round exit, if you're sitting in James Jones' seat, what are you thinking needs to be done this offseason to ensure things get back on the right track next year?
Well, they already have a good culture. They have a great culture. I think Money has established a great culture there. Um, we got a winning culture. You know, guys believe that they can win. I just think we were a victim of just playing bad at the wrong time. A little bit of bad coaching. I'm sure Money would have did some things different defensively versus Luka and the Dallas Mavericks. Um, I think I don't know. I just think, you know, anything can happen in basketball, and I just think the Suns fell into a rut at the wrong time. So I wouldn't change much. I would just get my players better. I think in order for us to be a championship team, I think Devin Booker has to develop into a superstar, not just a star. He's an all-star. He's a great player, but he needs to join that Luka Doncic conversation, that you know, Kevin Durant, you know, Steph Curry, you know, top 10 player in the league conversation. Because if you look at it, the last 10 or so years, I believe I would say a top 10 player in the NBA has been an NBA champion. Would you guys say that? Um, Giannis, LeBron, Steph Curry, Kevin Durant, all the champions have had a superstar on their team. So I think we have a great team. We all play together, but we need that one superstar, and I think Devin can become that player this coming season.
Steven, there's a lot of talk about the whole DeAndre Ayton situation. Where do you kind of fall into that conversation? Because, you know, from where we're sitting, he sacrificed a lot during that finals run, didn't get the bag last offseason. Now we go into this season, he wants to do more on offense. And, you know, another team is going to give him a max. There's no question about that. But the Suns, based on what we're hearing, it doesn't seem like they're all in on that idea. What do you think about that whole situation?
Yeah, I mean, you know, I think for any team, you know, unless you're a superstar in the league, it's hard to give a max contract these days because of how the NBA is played. So, you know, with the money they gave Chris Paul, with the money they gave Devin, and going to continue to give him, and a lot of our role players to keep our core intact, I just think it's a little bit too much spending for Robert Sarver at this point. And even though you drafted him number one, I don't think that they would give him the max deal he's wanting. So you know, I believe they're going to take their chances in sign and trade. You know, figuring that they can probably plug someone at that spot, maybe a JaVale McGee or, you know, another big. But it's gonna be a loss, man. Like, DeAndre does a lot for us. You know, he's one of the most solid bigs in the game. I mean, what did he average? 18 and 10, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you just don't wake up and find bigs like that. So I don't believe he's going to be with the Suns next year. You know, hopefully we can get a good sign and trade for him. But, you know, that's definitely going to be a blow to the Suns.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Steven, thank you so much for joining us. We'll have to have you back on here soon. Maybe when all the moves of free agency and whatnot are over, you can help us break it down.
Yeah, man, no doubt. This was fun, man. Thanks for having me.
We'll see you later.
Steven. Thanks.
All right.
We got a trade, everybody.
We got a trade.
Ooh,
That's so
I like
happy.
that noise. I
So
like
fancy.
it.
Well, let's do this. The Knicks are trading the number 11 pick to Oklahoma City for multiple first-round picks. And with that selection, the Oklahoma City Thunder will get Ousmane Dieng, who is an interesting prospect, and also is according to a lot of draft boards, he wasn't slotted to go this high either. I think they could have gotten him at 15 if they really wanted to, but instead they get him at 11, and that's very interesting. Interesting move.
They've drafted two guys that combined don't weigh as much as DeAndre Ayton.
Ousmane can shoot. He can shoot. But the thing is with him is he's got a little bit of a hitch in his shot, much like Lonzo Ball did, where he kind of comes across his body. I'm not a big fan of that. And then the same thing that plagues him is the same thing that plagues Chet Holmgren, is the physicality. He's a tweener. But in terms of potential, the ability to handle the ball, he can handle the ball for a big man. He's 6'10". He can shoot from the perimeter. He can score at all 3 levels, just like a lot of these prospects can. But he's got a lot of upside, and I would say he pound for pound probably has as much upside as anybody else in this draft. So
Too bad there's not many pounds.
OKC is living in the upside alley. They are hoping that all these guys are going to hit, and they're going to have the greatest team of all time for 1 year before they all end their rookie contracts and move on.
The trade doesn't involve this next pick. They're now on the clock.
So they still have 12.
Yeah.
Which
And that pick
skinny
is-
guy is left?
Well, yeah, I mean,
That
this
pick
guy,
is-
he wasn't a white guy, but he was kind of close.
Skinny.
Okay.
He's light-skinned.
What they're trying to do is find another KD. Presti misses having a skinny great guy on his team, so he's just going to draft all of them to find one.
All right, so now that we went through the whole trade thing, I want to go back to what Stephen Hunter just said at the end about DA. He doesn't feel like DA is going to be on this team next year. With what he said and just like all this chatter over the last like 36 hours or so, I know that our initial response is the best plan of action is to keep DA. But how do you feel things will actually shake out right now this summer?
It's hard to tell, especially with the KD stuff.
Yeah.
I can't see a scenario where the Suns just let DA walk out the door with minimal things in return. I can't see it. And maybe I'm giving these guys too much credit. We'll see, but I just can't see it. I really can't.
DeAndre Ayton will not be a Phoenix Sun.
You don't think so?
At this point,
but how?
I think there'll be a sign and trade, maybe a 3-team deal. As ridiculous as I thought the thought of KD was 4 weeks ago, it's starting to seem a lot less ridiculous as we move down this path that's going on.
Oh, say that
So
again? What's that?
You're not as dumb as I thought you were.
Oh, God.
So
Okay.
KD, I think it's the sales pitch.
Is this
that
how
you've been
life
putting
is
on.
for you, Tracy, at home? Like when you're right, he still tries to find a way to like bag on you.
You just gotta give him time to let him sit with the idea.
I hope you wrote your own vows.
I
Those
bet
are
she
fantastic.
cons you into thinking that every good idea is your idea. So now you
No,
think you're just
no,
the smart
it's
guy.
very clear that none of the good ideas are mine. Let's make that. But look, no, I think it's your sales pitches that you've been doing on the show that have convinced KD. But that's starting to feel like it's a possibility. But honestly, I think at some point you're going to accept some combination of contracts, draft picks, maybe a guy out of this draft that then you're going to try to use in a subsequent move, at least in part, to get somebody else. This is a multiple move offseason in my mind, and the DA domino may just be the first of many things to retool this roster.
The pick is
And so
in.
the pick is in. The Oklahoma City Thunder, with pick number 12, have picked Santa Clara wing guy Jalen Williams. Jalen's an interesting prospect because he kind of came out of nowhere in the last year and a half. Again, can score at all 3 levels. This strength says 3-point shooting, although the 3-point shooting has been a little suspect from time to time. But he's got 7'2" wingspan. He's a terrific specimen. But again, like all these guys, I think this is probably one of the few drafts I can recall where there is a lot of uncertainty in terms of development for a lot of these prospects. I know every draft there's a bit of development, obviously, but there's usually a few guys where you can pinpoint and be like, okay, well, he's going to be a surefire player like day one. I think everybody has a little flaw to a degree in this draft, and Jalen Williams, you're really hoping for that upside. So,
Do you feel like this is a little early for him? I feel like I saw him like 15, like 14, 15,
I mean,
16, 17-ish.
I could see why they would reach on a kid like this. I mean, he's still really young. And if you really love your player, like every GM will say, if you love your guy, you go get your guy. You don't worry about what other people have him slotted as.
And in the Suns' case, if you love your guy, it's because you only had 5 others on your draft board.
Exactly.
Do we think all 6 of their guys are gone already? Or
Yes.
You think
Yes,
it's
I think so.
maybe they had one real outside of the box pick? Look, Oklahoma City, like I said on the show yesterday, Sam Presti's got a stack of NBA scratchers tickets and he's gonna just get a bunch of young talent and hope he hits on 2 or 3 of them. Maybe 4 of them, and that's the strategy here. He's the opposite of James Jones. He's like, give me all the picks because I understand the odds are against me, and if I have all these picks, I will likely hit on a handful of them, and that's enough for success in the NBA.
The top 11 on my big board are all gone.
Okay.
All of them are gone. And so the only ones that actually not all of them gone. There's one guy in the top 10 of this big board that is still left, and that's AJ Griffin.
I was going to say, what about AJ Griffin?
Who I also am not very big on. I think AJ Griffin is a fraud.
So Michael Jordan's going to take him.
And Malaki, yeah, for sure. And Malaki Branham, I think, is the next best prospect on the board. So
I just love that out of the top 10, the one guy that you don't like is like the one that the Suns have brought in for a workout and is like connected to the Suns. Yeah, they did bring Sochan in for a workout, I believe.
No, not Sohan.
No, we're
AJ Griffin. Oh,
we didn't like him in the top 10.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. I hate Sohan.
Welcome to Phoenix.
If you think you want to come to San Antonio, just know you have a hater already.
Congratulations on your dream coming true. I hate you.
I'm so happy for you, but you also
I need to get that on the t-shirt.
So SBO in the chat said Sports Illustrated just published an article that Kyrie will opt in and look to be traded. So I just pulled it up, and it was posted 5 minutes ago, and it basically says,
don't get too excited.
Who's the writer?
Nick Selby.
This is based off of Shams.
Do you know what Nick
report
Selby? It
earlier.
is
Yeah,
based off
that's
of
all it
Shams
is.
earlier, but I don't know if it was any additional.
also
I haven't read it, obviously.
Shams also said that Team Durant is now very much looking at their options in terms of what their next move is, because again, he wanted to stay in Brooklyn and he came to Brooklyn because of Kyrie. Now that Kyrie might opt in and be traded, now it's a whole new ball game, and Kevin Durant is now, for all intents and purposes, available to some degree. And I've been saying it for a month. Kevin Durant, come to Phoenix, baby. Let's go.
It's the stars are aligning.
I'm telling you,
They kind of are.
manifest destiny. Let's
Until
go.
he goes somewhere else and everybody's crushed.
Well, it's entirely possible with this fan base, but it's a lot more plausible than I thought it was even a week ago. I'll say that.
I put in our
You guys are
Discord
starting to
earlier
warm up.
today.
You guys are starting to warm up.
It'd be amazing if he was here. I'm not against KD to Phoenix, but in the Discord earlier today, I said, if you could trade DA, Cam Johnson, and some picks for KD, would you do it? There were people that said no in the Discord.
Oh,
Wait,
Bro.
what'd you ask?
If you would trade DA, Cam Johnson, and some picks for KD. Some people said no. I don't even hesitate.
Whoa. What do you say?
Yeah.
You would do it. Okay, all right. I was like, I thought you were going
if
to
Lindsay is willing to,
I wouldn't be
Dude,
happy
what are
about
we talking about? We're talking about a top 20 player of all time.
I wouldn't be happy to let Cam go.
Hey, I will
but I would
pack the
still
suitcase.
say yes.
Lindsay, you know how hard I tried Gerald to call Cam Sweet Baby Angel when we were interviewing him yesterday? So hard.
What
But
the
he,
heck,
he
Gerald?
just wouldn't do it.
Why wouldn't you do it?
Because he said he was nervous.
it was in the midst of a one-on-one, and I
What?
didn't want him to look at me like,
You had
Bro,
him
what?
one-on-one, and you couldn't say, as Lindsey Smith calls you, a sweet baby angel? Oh,
Way to go,
Gerald.
Gerald.
that was not the framework that was presented to me, all right?
Gerald.
I'm so disappointed.
It's weird when a
disappointing.
grown man calls another grown man a sweet baby angel
Is
to his
it-
face.
If you were
Is
secure
Yes.
in your
Is
manhood,
it, or
it is
is
not.
that society telling you that's weird, Gerald, or is it actually weird?
No,
Because
I think it
it's
would.
society.
I think Cam Johnson would have been like, "What?
Like, hey,
Bourget.
sweet baby angel.
Like that's very nice, but what?"
Grow a set. I played me singing for Jalen Smith. You could have called
And
Cam
he's
Johnson
gone
sweet
now.
baby angel.
You made that happen, Espo. It's your fault.
Your decisions don't impact.
Oh, boy.
Michael Jordan's pick is in.
Oh, do we have a pick?
How do you
do.
screw this
Oh, I
one
don't
up?
even know this one.
And it's Memphis's Jalen Duren,
Ooh.
the number 13 pick.
That might be the best pick in the Jordan era,
Trying
to be
think.
honest with you.
That is a
Jalen-
low bar.
I
Adam
know.
Morrison, Kwame Brown,
I know
Frank
it's a low
Kaminsky.
bar. I know it's a low bar. But listen, Jalen Duren is listen, for all you DA haters that hate him because he doesn't dunk, Jalen Duren is the opposite. He will dunk every single thing. And he likes to dunk on people, over people. He's very physical. The only thing that I don't like about Jalen Duren is he's a little tight in the hips. So
You
again,
and your hips.
What?
no. Wait, first, Espo's been fascinated with hips, not me. Okay,
You've brought it up
No,
twice.
I have not.
Sounds like
You
both
brought
of
up
you.
every single time.
Oh, they just traded the best pick of the
Of
Jordan
course
era.
they did.
Who they-
Of course they did. Fucking Michael Jordan.
Cue the
Get it
graphic.
right for once.
What happened?
It's hilarious.
Oh.
What happened?
So-
where are those tight hips
Oh,
going,
wow.
Gerald?
We're getting conflicting reports here.
Yeah, I got
Uh-oh.
Memphis
Oh, wait.
and the Knicks.
Shams has Duren going to the Hornet or to the Knicks, and Woj has him going to the Pistons.
Ooh, I
Wait.
hear three-way.
Oh. Somebody's wrong.
I have Woj going. Yeah, Woj twice.
Woj Pistons.
Oh, please let it be the Pistons, because
Well,
you know
what?
what that means.
What is
No
it?
DA.
Jake Vischer is saying Detroit now.
I don't think that means no DA.
Oh, I think it absolutely means no DA.
I don't know.
Or that means
the
they
Suns
just
like him.
Yeah, but why would you do that though? Now you got to reteach the center position for a championship level
Because
team.
they don't think the center position is that hard to learn.
Wait, so which one is it?
So Jake Fisher said Pistons as well. So I'm waiting to see if Shams changes course or if Woj
Wouldn't it be
does.
funny if somebody's feeding Shams bad information just to sabotage him?
Why would you
No,
do
that wouldn't be funny
Why
at
would you
all.
do
That'd be
that?
really messed up.
a little funny.
Well, I mean, the thing is, we saw this in Suns World a couple years ago, right?
I'm never tweeting anything you tell me ever.
There were competing things
Now I
about trades,
know.
and it was because a deal was very close with one team, and then somebody heard a deal was complete, and they went with the deal that they had heard rather than the one that actually happened. That was around the McHale time, I believe. So I don't know. It's tough. I mean, imagine how much Shams' phone's blowing up right now while he's on a live stream trying to figure it out.
Tone Capone, Jordan, fuck that center.
Woj changed his tweet apparently.
I'm not seeing it, and I got the notification.
I have
set
not.
up.
All right.
I have not seen it either. 2 minutes. Pistons are acquiring Jalen Duren.
Mm-hmm. Neither one of them have deleted it.
Yeah, Shams said to the Knicks. Woj and Jake Fisher both said to the Pistons. and-
Listen, I will say this: if it goes to the Pistons,
Maybe
then
it's still deciding.
then maybe that is, a sign that the Pistons are trying to do what they can to position themselves for DeAndre Ayton.
Mhm.
That's the only way I can make sense of this. Outside of the fact that you got two great guards now and a center that you could add to it, and you can grow that group together, which I think is the model, Phoenix. But what do I know? I mean, we only got to the finals.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which one is it?
I mean, it could be a 3-team deal here too. So in theory, the Knicks could be involved in this. if there's
Shams
multiple
just
pieces.
left it alone and tweeted out the next
Yeah,
pick.
he went to number 14.
He
He's
said,
like,
I don't know, you
"Ignore
guys
this."
figure it out.
Hey, I'm done.
screw you guys and go home.
I got good information on this next one.
Well,
That's
Well,
interesting.
until we find out for sure what happened.
I guess we'll move on to
Yeah.
the next.
Oh, 3-team
Pick is
trade.
in. All right. So what's the next?
All right,
pick,
the
boys?
next pick is the Cleveland Cavaliers. At pick number 14, will take Ochai Agabaji from Kansas, who I also love. I
Love
think
that name.
he is a physical specimen. If you watched him in the national championship game, I think he didn't miss his first 6 threes in that game. He was a terrific outside shooter. Can score close to the rim. He can score from the perimeter. Mid-range game and leaves a little to be desired, but just really, really strong. He can defend at a high level. He's not a playmaker. He's just not. But for a 3-and-D type of player, he is as good as it's going to get in this draft. So I like him a lot.
Whoa.
Okay.
Uh-oh.
We got to bring that trade alert back.
Uh-oh. All right, let's do it.
Is it us? Are we in?
No.
All
You
right.
can't be all that excited.
I need a sad sound
This
here when
is
it's not
fun.
the Suns.
This
No.
is somewhat significant. So Jake Fisher kind of dialed it back. He said he doesn't know where Jalen Duren is going because it could be a 3-team trade. Shams just tweeted Knicks are trading Kemba Walker to Detroit. And
That
then he
what you-
follows up that the Knicks acquired Jalen Duren and moved him
What?
with Kemba Walker to the Pistons. So Kemba, Jalen Duren are going to the Pistons.
So Durant was the sweetener to take Kemba's contract?
I guess.
Why would you
Ooh.
take that deal on?
Here, I'll tell you why.
Money
Got the
matches?
space for it.
You got the space for it, but also, what have we been talking about in terms of the Suns?
Oh God, a backup point,
Yes.
not Kemba Walker.
Yes.
Oh God.
Yeah.
How would that money even work?
Not only that, too, but you get somebody to kind of mentor Cade. You get an older guy.
I don't think they care about that.
If
in
they're really
Detroit.
truly going after DA and they know a sign and trade is there, they have to sweeten the pot, and they're trying to do it, in my opinion,
How
right
much
now.
is left on Kemba's contract?
I'm
though?
looking that up now.
It's got to be astronomical.
Detroit.
but-
I mean, I'll tell you what, though, being a Detroit fan right now would probably be kind of like chaotically fun. Just trying to like piece together what all is going on over there.
Kemba's only got $9.2 million
Oh,
on
that's
his
it?
salary, and then he's an unrestricted free agent.
Oh
That's
my
it?
God, that's gonna be it. That's gonna be the offer.
Kemba and
Durant you probably are getting both of those draft picks and Kemba for DA.
You'd need more. Well, I guess. God. Or is that something that's going to?
No way.
Anything
No.
but
Oh,
Sohan.
oh
I don't
God.
want Sohan.
Oh my God. Oh God.
Okay, wait. So then were Woj and Shams both technically
Technically
correct
right. yes.
Yeah.
Because
Everybody's
he had
like-
to be traded to the Knicks before he could be traded
Wait,
to
Then? So
Detroit.
Gerald,
technically they were both correct.
What would it be if that was the case? If the Pistons were making that trade, what would it be?
So Kemba's $9 million, and then you've got, let's see, man. It depends on if there are more pieces in the trade, though. If they're trading Ivy, I think Ivy and Kemba might get you close in the vicinity, but they'll probably throw another piece in there. It's tough to tell right now until we get.
There's one person so far who has commented in the chat that said Kemba is good. Everyone else is like, no,
Oh,
please,
no,
God,
Kemba-
no.
Kemba, if you're trading for Kemba, it's not because you envision him as your backup point guard. It's because you need salary to make the sign
And
and
then
trade
there's a
work.
buyout or something.
And then there's probably a buyout situation, or you trade him somewhere else as an expiring. You're probably hoping for either Jaden Ivey or a first round pick in this case, because they're not going to give you Sadiq Bey, who is a really good wing, good shooting wing, and you're not going to get Cade Cunningham. So I don't know. You could probably also get there with Killian Hayes. He only makes $5.8 million. That's another possible salary, but I don't know.
Could you imagine if we went through this whole James Jones doesn't like draft picks, and then he trades DeAndre Ayton for a couple of young prospects, but he could go, well, I didn't draft them. I traded for
It's not
them.
the same
I'm not
thing.
lying.
I don't like drafting them. I do like trading for them.
I'll
though.
acquire them, but
He's
I
like,
am
this
not
is way
drafting
more
for them.
fun.
Oh, man.
I mean, somebody in the comments said Alfred played more than Kemba did.
Is this,
Doug Allen. Kemba was good for 3 weeks in the NCAA tournament.
this
Oh,
He
is,
had
no.
a nice career in
Wait, so
Charlotte.
He
Ryan-
was
Not
great
revised.
in the NCAA
Hold
tournament.
on. Ryan is asking for an explanation. How
About
is
what?
Kemba bad? He likes him.
He hasn't been good in a couple years. He hasn't been the same since, what was that injury he had 1 or 2 years ago? I mean, the Knicks basically benched him, and that's
Yeah.
the Knicks, who like don't really have
The
a starting
Knicks.
point guard.
The
He hasn't been good the
Knicks.
last couple years. What
Do
is
you
he now?
think he'd be better than Campaign right now if he was our backup?
No.
No.
He's 32 years old. This season, he averaged 11.6 points, but he shot 40% from the field. Like, he hasn't been good in about... I mean, he was good for the Celtics a little bit, but even they didn't really want him at the end. So,
I like
I don't know.
Ryan G said, you guys are telling me Kemba is worse than any backup guard we have, which I'm not really saying that. But
I'm
then Rick
saying that.
James
Or not
said-
any.
Rick James is saying, how is Kemba good? LOL. Get out of here. They're just going back and forth. It's kind of funny.
Look, as a third
I mean,
string,
that's fair.
I would rather have Kemba over Alfred, but that's because, as we've talked about, Alfred was really, really, really
Well,
not good.
I don't want any of those.
The bar
I
is
want
low.
Aaron Holiday.
Joe in the chat saying that the Knicks have now cleared cap space for Kyrie Irving.
Possibly.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Thank you, Knicks.
And that is one of the teams that Kyrie
Hold
says
on,
he
though.
wants to go to.
Mhm.
Part
It
of the
is.
reason Kyrie supposedly wants to potentially move on is because he doesn't want to get caught in the same kind of issues that he had last year with the vaccination.
I feel like
But you
also...
move in New York?
I
still?
feel like in addition to that, it was also how the franchise handled it, and that he didn't like the way
That
that they
makes
handled
sense.
it.
Yeah, but wasn't there?
But you're going from a franchise that on paper has been pretty solid to the Knicks, who have been an absolute dumpster fire. And you have KD and Harden at the time when all this shit was going down. So at least the pressure wasn't totally on you. You go to the Knicks where you need to play for them to win and you miss half those games, those fans will try to bury you. There's no way.
To be fair, they have lifted the restriction, so he shouldn't have that.
I was just gonna say, didn't they lift the restrictions so it wouldn't even be an issue next year for them?
But what if the pandemic gets out of hand again, or
They're not. Never mind.
You're not going backwards.
They're not going backwards.
I doubt it.
All right.
The Knicks would give him that long-term deal, though, right? I mean, I think the Knicks are the kind of organization that would go, you know what? We'll give you that 4 or 5 year deal that you're looking for because we're that desperate for a star. Even if you won't be a star at the end of that contract. It's the most Knicks move that you could go.
Okay, but when I brought that up when this initially happened and y'all were like, nobody's giving him an extended contract with decent money, I was like, there is a desperate team, and you have laughed at me.
Well, the Knicks are the most
Kyrie.
desperate.
They laughed at you?
All of you laughed at me.
I would not laugh at that.
You guys
I don't
all
remember
said
that.
there was no team out there that would give him big money long-term deal. And I was like, there is at least one or two
For
teams out
Kyrie?
there. Yeah.
I don't think I would say something like
I'm
that.
going to go back and find it now.
I said it and I laughed directly in your face.
Because I was
Sounds like
like,
something he would
I
do.
was literally like, I was like, why is this like that far-fetched of an idea? I
sure.
was so confused. I'm going to find it now.
Oh, the pick is in.
Who is it? Who is it?
I don't know. He played the sounder. I have no idea who it is.
Oh, yeah, Mark
Oh.
Williams is 15.
Oh, okay. Number 15. Who did the Charlotte Hornets?
Yep.
It's the first time
Oh.
Shane's been ahead of us.
Nice job, Shane. Mark Williams from Duke. If there was ever a big that I would tell you to avoid, it would be this one. Mark Williams
Wow.
is boo-boo. I do not like his game. I don't like his name. I don't like anything about what you say.
Gosh, you
do
don't like
not-
anything?
I don't like green.
I don't
eggs
like
and
Mark
ham.
Williams at all. I think
Were
he
you trying
is.
to rhyme?
He is. I was. He's very limited offensively. Basically, every single highlight you've ever seen of Mark Williams is right at the rim. Defensively, he's a liability on the perimeter. And in this game, when we're talking about flexibility and being able to guard on the perimeter and how teams are going to just spread you out and shoot, Mark Williams is the opposite of that. I don't know what this is a Michael Jordan pick. This is an absolute Michael Jordan. You just went from the
Literally.
most athletic big in the draft to the least one. I don't understand you, MJ. Pull your head out of your ass.
He's got a type. It started with Kwame Brown,
My
and he's stuck with
goodness.
it.
Mark Williams is doo-doo.
We've
That's
also
Michael Jordan's type.
Dude.
Doo-doo.
we've also got confirmation on the next pick.
No, already?
Ooh.
Yes. Yes. Oh, my God, no.
The next
Wait a
pick.
minute.
What?
Wait a minute. Wait a minute.
He realized,
Wait a minute.
so
Wait a
bad.
minute.
so
No.
he
Wait,
realized
what
the
happened?
team
I
that's
don't even see it
drafting
yet.
the player in question here.
Listen, Manuel Romero, if I
Oh.
shit on every player, then they can't come to us. And they all have to come to us, right? Are we doing this or are we doing the
Yeah.
next pick? Go ahead, Jerry.
Atlanta with the number 16 pick is taking AJ Griffin out of Duke, and we all know how high Saul is on the other Duke prospects in this draft. So Saul, go ahead and walk us through your thinking on that reaction there.
I thought you said you had him in your top 10, though.
No. Well, yeah, he was in the top 10. That was the aggregated top 10. That wasn't my top 10.
Okay.
The aggregated top 10. I misspoke back then.
Mm.
But yeah, no, AJ Griffin is just as doo-doo as Mark Williams.
God.
Listen, AJ Griffin can shoot from the perimeter, and he could do some things a little bit better than Mark Williams. But again, I just feel like he's limited physically. Like a lot of these Duke guys flash and they're awesome in high school, and they get to Duke, and you kind of see them for what they are, especially when you have the talent like Paolo Branchero next to you. Like Paolo was so leaps and bounds above these guys, and in my opinion, made them look better than they actually were. Like I just am not a big believer in AJ Griffin. He can't create his own shot. He's very much a stand-up kind of shooter, 3-and-D kind of guy.
Oh.
But I'm just not a big
He
fan.
said the magic word.
Mhm.
James Jones' favorite, 3 and D.
No, but he's 19.
Yeah, but
Oh.
hey, he could like Young if they're 3 and D and like him. So that's all right.
I'm surprised he fell that far, but it is interesting because the Hawks are another team that we're gonna have to keep an eye on
I
as far as
know.
potential sign and
Damn
trades.
it. That's why I was like, yeah. Oh, wait, no.
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 So every team that is a potential sign and trade, I think, drafted a guy Saul hates. I believe that's where we're at.
No,
right,
not in the
Bev?
top 10.
Okay,
The top 10
all
teams
right.
did good.
By the way-
Once we got to Sohan, everything kind of just went off the rails.
So you say that you basically hate Duke guys, right? That's the gist of it.
Basically.
Are you saying Coach K sucked as a coach?
I hate Coach K.
Okay, just
with a
wanted to
vengeance.
confirm. You heard it here first. Saul Bookman says Coach K sucked.
Yes.
All right.
I will say that to the grave.
To his grave or whose grave?
His.
Okay.
And probably mine.
It'll be that meme of
Does
the
it
kid
matter?
like taking a
Does
picture.
it matter which grave I say it to?
Well, normally the phrase is
Odd
I will take
technicality
it
you want me to
the
clarify.
Normally the phrase is I'll take it to the grave, not I'll say it to the grave. Whose grave are you saying it
Yes.
to?
And I will dance on it.
My God.
Oh, that's tough.
All right. Well, everybody thinks that I've completely jinxed the Suns, so I'm
Way
sorry.
to go, Saul.
I'm sorry.
What do we got
Yeah,
next on the
Y'all
list,
want to play
Lindsay?
another game?
Yes.
We
let's
should
play a
invite
game.
a
That's what I was going
Yeah, geez, let Lindsay drive the bus.
It's okay. It's fine. This one doesn't need to be driven anywhere because it's already off
He
the
drove
rails.
off the cliff.
We'll just keep going.
All right.
But what we're going to do right now is if you are in our Discord, go there right now. We're going to drop a link. And if you tap on that link, it'll bring you into the waiting room of our show. We're going to do some trivia for a chance to win some prizes.
Yep.
And we can't promise that if you tap that link, that means you're going to actually be pulled in. That's Shane's discretion. Shane's just going to pick a random box on the
first
screen
come, first serve, basically.
and pop somebody in. So, Espo, did you drop the link in the Discord yet?
No, I wasn't aware it was me, so I'm working on it here.
All right.
for you.
Well, that's what we're going
Saul,
to do.
put your hand off your head already.
So,
all right?
while we'll give them time to also get to
Focus
the
on the
Discord
goddamn
as well.
phone, not on what I'm doing.
Focused. I can multitask.
So, what we're going to do is we're going to bring in a random person.
Oh, shake that booty,
Shane,
Shane.
your
There you
whole
go.
butt is on screen.
Give the people what they
Oh, no.
want.
Don't disconnect the show.
Give the people what they want.
Somebody make a gif of that because we're going to use that on the show from
Shane
now on.
shaking his ass.
So I think, how did we decide we're going to do this? We're going to do 3, maybe 4 trivia rounds each time. And then
Mhm.
whoever has the highest score at the end will be the one who gets the
60,
prize back.
60 seconds, as many questions as you can answer. Whoever has the highest number of questions answered
Yep.
in those 60 seconds
We'll get a
throughout the
prize
show
back.
is going to get a prize
Yeah.
back.
All
And
right.
we haven't set a number. It's basically till we run out of questions. So,
Mm-hmm.
like, it might be 3 people. It might be 10. It just depends on how
That's
fast
true.
people can answer the questions.
That is true.
Yeah, don't suck.
Did you drop it?
I did. It's in
Okay.
there. Somebody
So
will-
it's in the Discord. So if you want to play, hop on in. We'll
First
give you
one.
guys until after we talk about this pick.
Well, pick is it?
Ooh, okay. Oh, am I doing this?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, with the number 17 selection. Oh, we got our first guy. Tari Eason from LSU is the pick. Tari Eason, again,
I like
very
him.
good defender. Very good defender. Shooting's obviously a problem, a weak spot. But for the Houston Rockets, what you're seeing is they're going after energy guys, guys that bring it on the defensive end that can that just have a lot of energy. So now they got Jabari Smith, and they teamed him up with Tari Eason. I like what the Rockets are doing so far.
Yeah, not bad.
Nice.
Not bad.
Shane, we ready? Nope, not yet.
By the way, SVODC says nice ass, Shane. So just want you to feel good about yourself over
Sly
there.
said 404 error.
What we need to do.
Uh-oh.
Keep
Oh.
keep
Keep clicking it.
Keep
clicking
it.
in.
What the hell? Who did that?
Oh, that's
Did what?
saying to go sign up to be a member so you can get in the
Oh,
Discord.
gotcha.
Yeah, so if you're not a part of our
Jeez.
Discord
I thought that was the
channel,
link. I was like, what the hell are we
you just
doing here?
become a Go PHNX member, and then you get access to the Discord, which is also really, really busy all the time. Like it's a super fun space. So if you're not on that yet,
Econ, the Discord is where we all
Hang
congregate outside of Twitter, and we just talk a bunch of bullshit, basically. It's pretty fun.
Centerist Dunk said, "Oh, I need a camera, huh?"
You don't have to.
Yeah.
You don't have to be on
No,
camera.
If you
don't
don't
just
want to
have
put
a
on your
mic.
camera, that's fine as long as we have access to your mic.
We just need somebody.
Tell them.
Somebody now.
Tell them whoever called in. Somebody called in. They left because they weren't let in. They weren't let in
Yeah.
because I was producing. But now
Call back in.
Yeah.
Look at this is just so many people want this prize pack that the link is just crashed and nobody can call in.
You just
Or
have to
nobody
sit in the
cares.
green room for a little while until we bring somebody in. That's it. Okay, but
Bueller,
while that's
Bueller.
happening, hopefully somebody actually shows up. If not, I'm taking the prize back home. Diego asked, have you guys talked about the
Says not
Kardashian
working.
shenanigans is over right now? And we did. We talked about it on a show, on Monday, I think, is when it first was rumored. Monday or Tuesday, right? Or was it last
Friday?
week?
I think it was Friday. I wasn't.
It
back yet.
was. Yeah, it was last week we had talked about it, but I don't know. I feel bad for Devin now that it's kind of hit the mainstream media
You know,
today. I kind of feel bad. I mean,
Okay.
2 years, like that's got to suck still.
I don't feel that bad. Devin Booker will be all right.
I mean, yeah.
Devin
that's
Booker is
true.
one of the most eligible bachelors in the United States now.
here's
He'll be
something.
okay.
PHNX Daily Bets Live, 12 p.m. Tari Eason under 17.5 picks. Cha-ching. Just saying.
So, okay, nobody wants to play trivia yet?
No,
So-
well,
We're
people are saying
working
that
on
the
it.
link doesn't work.
You know what? Do we open it up to everybody?
I
Let's
mean,
just
if
play
the
it.
link doesn't work at this point, maybe.
Shane's like, no, I don't want this out there on the internet.
I mean, we're only going to do one person, so it doesn't matter.
Let me see.
Drop it in, Emma. Drop it in the chat in the YouTube.
Allow.
Let's give the people what they want.
Let me see.
Threw a bomb in hour 2.
Let's do it.
Go-
All right, we
that's
got
me.
somebody.
That's
Here we
me.
go.
I don't understand how you guys are having issues with this. You
Hold on.
literally just tap it and give it access to
That's
your
it.
mic.
That's
a bomb an hour. What happened?
It's so simple.
Oh, just letting,
Oh,
just throwing
Gotcha.
the link in the chat.
Eh.
Oh,
This
wow.
this is just thrilling right now. People waiting with bated
Gerald, what's
breath
going on
for
Twitter?
somebody to click.
There we go.
Hey, we got
There we got
somebody.
somebody. All right.
Working?
Who do we have here?
Caller,
Who do
you're
we
on the
have here?
show.
Oh, hold up. Here we go. Hey.
Who do we got?
Who is this?
Tell us your name.
Who do we have here?
Caller, you're on the show. Hold on.
Hi. Very, very confusing watching this in real time.
Okay, you gotta watch on the link. You
Yeah,
can't watch
I
on
have
YouTube,
both up.
okay? All right.
Okay. Who are you?
Steven, so we've been at a draft party. We actually won Lindsay's signed book.
That's
Yeah,
right.
man, that's
That-
you guys.
Hey, guys.
Yeah.
Welcome
All right,
back to the
awesome.
program.
Love
It's
that.
a little different looking at you on a computer screen or a TV screen.
Yeah, you guys are about this
Apologize.
big to
Yeah.
us right now. This big.
All right.
All
Gerald,
right.
do you want to start us off or Espo?
Somebody else can, but we got to get 60 seconds on the clock, and Gerald will read you your questions. Answer as many as you can. You can only pass once. Only one pass. Answer as many questions as you can in 60 seconds.
And I'll count. Oh, we have a count.
Okay. 3, 2, 1. Who is the original Sun taken first overall by Phoenix in the 1968 expansion draft?
Neil Walk.
Incorrect.
Okay. Have the Suns ever selected third in the NBA draft? Yes or no?
No. Yes, they have. Yes,
Incorrect. Who did the Suns select with the number 2 pick after missing out on Lou Alcindor back in 1969?
This is Neil Walk.
There you go. Who is the highest rated Phoenix Sun to make an All-Star game? Or highest drafted?
Highest draft picks. I want to say it was Connie Hawkins, but I can't remember. I'm going to go with Connie Hawkins.
Incorrect. Which player did the Suns draft in 2019 before trading him for Cam Johnson?
DeAndre Hunter.
No, Jared Culver. The
Jared
Suns
Culver.
traded Javon Carter and their 2021 pick for Landry Shamet. Who did the Nets take with that pick?
DeAndre Sharp.
Day'Ron Sharp. We'll give it to him. Yes.
Yeah, that works.
All right.
Two
You got
and-
two correct.
So you sit at the top of the leaderboard right now. We're going to be bringing in other people. So if 2 is the winner, you're going to get the prize back. So hold your breath.
It was a little tough. It was a little tough. It was a little tough.
Good luck to everyone out there. This is fun. Glad you guys are doing it.
Thanks for
See you
having me
guys
on.
Thank you
at
so
the
much for
next
watching.
hangout.
All right, that was fast.
Honestly, I feel like it's going to be interesting because we all came up with different trivia questions for this.
Yeah.
I feel like mine are either really freaking hard or really freaking easy.
Yeah, I was nice enough to throw in some true or false, so you have a 50-50 chance.
I did all multiple choice.
Josh, get in here. Who cares?
We do
But
have
the problem with the multiple choice though is that you have to read each multiple choice, which costs them time when we do it. So
we have to read our fastest for these for
That's
sure.
true.
Yeah, but 2 is the leader of the clubhouse right now, so you just need to get 3 to be at the top next time we do.
We do have an update on the Kemba Pistons trade that's going down. Kemba and the Pistons are expected to discuss a contract buyout. So
no Kemba, but they do have young talent now that could be part of a deal.
So who ended up with Ivy?
The Pistons.
So the Pistons have Durant and Ivy, and all they gave up was a first-round pick from Milwaukee.
Yeah,
That's insane.
They did a very nice job in this draft so far, with or without DA plans being involved.
They took advantage of the Knicks and their desire to find a big-name guy, and they needed the cap space.
They did. They're going after Jalen Brunson.
What was this?
Well, we don't need another person.
Let's do it. Why not? It's Josh.
All right.
Come on,
Bring
Josh.
him up. It's the one and only, the Giftmeister, the man who makes us all look like something. It's Josh.
How's it going?
Great. How about you?
Good.
I'm doing good. It's nice to finally kind of show up on the show.
Yeah,
go.
I mean,
There
you've
you
been
go.
on our show essentially in like
Your word.
in
Various
some
forms,
capacity,
yeah, for
right?
sure.
It's about
Yeah.
time we had your face on the show. Okay, you ready?
Gerald,
Yeah.
we'll let you continue.
Do you want
with
me to
your
continue?
questions here for Josh.
Myself.
I feel like you should steal some of mine, Gerald.
I
Let's-
don't know if I should be flipping back
Well,
and forth.
Just
in
do
the middle.
yours, and if you run out of them, go to
Right.
Lindsay's.
But the bottom
Let's-
half of mine,
let's-
those are the real easy
Let's put 60 seconds on the clock for
Lindsay
Josh.
wants to give away a prize pack to everybody.
I do.
So we are not in agreement on that.
Everybody literally is getting flowers from Lindsay. She will be sending them to your home. Everybody watching.
I just
not
want to give away a lot of things.
Okay, so let's
All
put
right.
60 seconds on the
Shane, you
clock.
ready?
We will start in 3, 2, 1. Where was Devin Booker drafted overall?
13.
That's correct. Who was the lowest drafted Sun to make an All-Star team in Phoenix?
That's hard.
That's a tricky one.
Oh, I don't.
Team.
Which rookie taken at number 16 did the Suns trade on draft night in 2018 for Mikal Bridges?
Oh, that was Zaire something. Zaire.
My name.
We'll give it.
Yeah.
The Suns took 2 Kentucky guards in 2013. Who was the second aside from Devin Booker?
Oh, that was Tyler Eulis.
Close. Which of the following players were originally drafted by the Suns and immediately traded away? A. Nate Robinson, B. Rajon Rondo, C. Luol Deng, or D. All of the above?
See that again? My dogs are going nuts.
Which players were originally drafted by the Suns and immediately traded away? Nate Robinson, Rajon Rondo, Luol Deng, or all?
Oh, Nate Robinson.
All of the above. Which 2 Suns legends?
We're tied at 2.
2 piece for everybody.
All right.
And he
All right.
froze.
Oh no.
And
He
he
just
froze.
hung up. He's like, I'm done
He's
with
like,
this.
man, screw you
Jo-
guys.
Josh Hunt will have some kind of gift making fun of the fact that he froze here shortly.
Dang, that's how he went out, Josh? He froze? Anyway,
Yeah.
we got to get to the Bulls pick because it is very, very good.
Of course it is.
Of course it
because
is.
Saul liked it. Pick is it.
With the number, was it 18? We at 18 right now? Number 18 pick in the NBA draft. The Chicago Bulls select yet another Arizona Wildcat, Dalen Terry. Let's go, baby. That's 2 top 20 picks. You guys don't know nothing about that, do you, ASU guys? Yeah, Dalen Terry, listen, he's raw. And I think one of the things about Dalen Terry that needs to improve is his outside shooting and his playmaking ability. However, he brings a lot to the court defensively. His intangibles are off the charts, and he's going to be a terrific role player for the Chicago Bulls. He's raw in terms of trying to make things happen offensively, but I think he's going to be. He reminds me a lot of kind of he could fill into like a Bruce Bowen type, where he's just a nuisance on defense, and he is a nuisance on defense for sure. So yeah, I like Dalen Terry.
Can we put the strengths and weaknesses back on the screen if you don't mind, Shane? Sorry to throw that at you, but just I love his weaknesses: shooting, out of control, and not polished. That's what. Are we sure he's not a Michael Jordan pick?
First of all, like the out of control thing doesn't even make sense to me. I've watched Dalen Terry 10 times in person, and none of those times did I ever feel like he was completely out of control. Like he might try to force things, like in terms of like shots, but he's not like out of control, like where he's just constantly getting offensive charges or throwing the ball over people's heads or anything like that. Like.
I just enjoy that assessment.
Well, this also was an assessment from people at DNVR who didn't know good basketball when they see it.
Man!
Oh!
If only they had Jamal Murray.
Shots fired all around first. He comes for us now, DNVR.
If only they had Jamal Murray.
Look, I feel like if we did cards for Vegas, if we're going to play basketball at Summer League, those weaknesses would be mine as well.
Hey guys, speaking of the Denver Nuggets, do you smell a sweep?
Look at you, draft day dingers.
Well
how
done,
much did you make? Let's just say, how much did you make?
Listen, I'm just saying,
$7.
if this is not enough of a reason for you guys to watch Shane's Bet show, I don't know what else to tell you. You're literally giving up free money.
Mopping the floor with Johnny right now.
So
noon every day, make some cash, thanks to Shane Diefenbach.
There you go.
His mustache might not look good, but the picks do. So.
All right, what's next on our rundown? I was looking at trivia questions still.
Yeah, we've done some trivia, but I feel like we're getting close to snake draft territory, aren't we?
We are.
What number did we just talk about?
18.
18. You want to do snake draft?
Let's do some snake draft.
Okay. So this snake draft is going to be sports busts. So some of the biggest busts in sports.
Draft bust.
Draft bust, yes.
No.
Yes.
That's not what we said. That is not what we said. We just said
what we agreed on.
biggest sports bust.
Whatever.
Which ended up being a draft bust
It's going to be a draft bust anyway.
Yeah, I thought that's what it...
Yeah.
No, it's sports bust.
It's a draft snake draft.
You do you, Lindsay.
Anyway.
I didn't have a single draft pick on here.
You said you went James Jones style. You have 7 people on here.
I got the 4th pick, so who's first?
It's Espo, Gerald, Lindsay, Saul.
Okay.
With the first pick in the God, these guys sucked when they played in sports draft, I'm going to take Ryan Leaf out of Washington State.
All right.
Ryan Leaf, the Chargers quarterback who flamed out.
Okay.
It's the biggest draft in all of sports, draft bust. I'm gonna go with Sam Bowie with my number 1 pick. Everyone always will remember him as the guy that was not Michael Jordan, and that's unfortunate for him, but he also dealt with injuries. That's a pretty big misfire. Sorry, Blazers.
Okay. Y'all know me. I don't like being mean, and I felt like this draft idea was mean.
She's drafting Thanos.
So I'm going biggest sports bust, but from a different angle. So my number 1 overall pick
What is this angle?
is big baller brand shoes.
See, this is why we need to specify these
doing
things.
right? That's all right. That's all right. That's all right. Let her lose. That's fine.
I don't want to pick individual people. I feel like it's mean.
Okay, well, my pick's Lindsey Smith for not playing this game the right way.
These are technically busts still in sports.
Okay. Here are my 2. Number 1, Jamarcus Russell.
Good call.
I think he might be the biggest bust of them all.
Sorry, say that again.
Jamarcus Russell.
And that purple drink, right?
And that purple drink. And then number 2, Kwame Brown.
Ooh, Kwame's
a good
You got to
pick.
go with the Jordan pick.
I have to.
You got to go with the Jordan pick.
Kwame's a good pick.
All right,
Okay.
so we whip back around to Lindsay and whatever the hell she's doing.
Sean deposit the chat. Lindsay is a bored loser.
Whatever.
This is not the spirit of the draft.
I'm sorry.
I
Didn't
agree.
you just
I
lose your
agree.
draft, Sean? Come at me, bro.
Not only did he
Come
lose,
at me,
not
bro.
only did he lose the ASU draft, but he also has to dress up as something tomorrow for our show because he lost.
I only lost the draft because Totri cheated, and y'all.
Yeah, sure. Make excuses. Who are you, the Suns? Stop making excuses.
She doesn't want to make fun of people,
Hey,
but she
but
goes
hey,
for the
that's-
Suns.
She just
Lindsay's
threw the
clearly
whole
trying to
team.
deflect from the fact that she doesn't understand what you guys are trying to
I
do.
understood what was happening. I don't want to do it because I think it's mean.
She never wants to do
That's
the
why.
To
assignment.
be fair, in typical Suns fashion, Sean says he's aight right now. So
Lindsay, what is your
Right.
crazy ass pick here?
Team USA getting bronze in 2004.
Okay. Gerald, you're on the clock.
fuck are we
I
doing
guarantee
right
that wasn't on your draft board.
No, it was not. I'm gonna go with Anthony Bennett, my number 2 pick. That was the most bizarre number 1 pick I can remember in my entire life.
So I get back to back here, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a whip around. So
Wait, have you drafted twice yet?
Yeah.
I drafted
Yeah,
first.
you drafted back to back.
Yeah. So then
then
it
he
comes
goes
back to me, back to back, and back the other way. Thus a snake draft. Not that we haven't done these before, but so looking at 2 here, I'm gonna go Michael Olowokandi
That's a good one.
as my first one here, and then I got to get a little Arizona flavor in here.
Yes, do it.
And I'm gonna. It's
All
not
of
gonna be
it?
Suns.
Oh no, I know.
It's got Josh Rosen.
Okay.
He thought you were going to University of Arizona, I think.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, no,
I did.
no. I'm gonna go Josh Rosen.
Okay.
Okay.
Gerald.
But I know what you're thinking.
I'm gonna go Johnny Football.
Oh.
Johnny Manziel.
Makes sense.
Got to put him on the board.
Good
As
call.
much as it pains me, his life just makes me sad. But
Lindsay, do whatever the hell you're gonna do now.
it's gonna be like the wave or something. Shit.
Not renewing Ted Lasso.
What?
It's a sports show, isn't
for
it?
season
Yeah,
4?
But
Yeah.
they do have season 3.
I thought they weren't. I thought they said they weren't renewing it
After
again.
season
I think
3
they're
because
not going
the creator's
beyond
done.
season 3.
Oh, I see.
Well,
Okay,
you
then I'll
took
take
it.
it off.
Oh, it's
No,
too
you
late
took it.
now.
Fine, whatever.
Saul, you're up. You're not
All
winning
right.
anyway.
Yeah.
So.
I will take Darko Milicic
Ooh,
Okay,
good call.
that's a good one.
because he sucks.
Oh,
And I will also take Greg Oden.
that's a good one.
I just love like the Lindsay going, "Oh, Ted Lasso," and people are like, "Hey, there was a trade."
Should we take a break
You
and,
should
and
pause
talk-
for a
let's
second,
pause. Give us the trade graphic. Here.
Rude.
All right, what do we got?
Well, it was the Memphis Grizzlies trading for the number 19 pick from Minnesota and are planning to select Wake Forest's Jake LaRavia, sources tell ESPN, according to Woj.
Jake LaRavia, 6'9", 228-pound guard, can shoot from the perimeter, basketball IQ is at a high level, but it's basketball IQ, Jesus. All right, and selfless. Athleticism is very, very suspect with this kid. He's going to be a good player. I think he's going to be a good player, but he's very limited in what he's going to be able to provide the Memphis Grizzlies. So
Ceiling is a weakness. He bumps into a lot of
Yeah,
nice stalls.
yeah,
So. I don't know. I just love some of these weaknesses. They're fun. So
At
All
least
right.
some people in the chat like my idea, so thank you
yeah,
guys.
of
I
course.
appreciate
Pander
you.
to Lindsay, all of you. By the way, great Greg Oden pick. That guy, it shouldn't have slipped that far. So
Sorry, I just dropped a. I was just chewing an M&M in the
That's
mic.
all right.
My bad.
No, we're
Apologies,
good.
y'all.
who's next? Where are we on this pick? Is it Saul or?
No, I think it's me because
Yeah,
you
it
picked
was.
twice.
It was. We're waiting
Oh, it's Lindsay.
for Lindsay's off
You
the
guys
wall.
are so sassy. Have some.
it's funny
fun.
how it's kind of funny, ironically, that you went from not wanting to hurt anybody's feelings, and all we're doing is
I'm-
trying to hurt yours.
I know, and I'm also going at Sean really hard for
I
no
know.
reason.
I know. He's like not even
like-
on the show.
I'm being so mean.
There is always a reason to be mean to Sean.
I know,
Sean
but I went
started
really
this.
hard. He did start
He
it.
calls
That's
you.
true.
He said you were born a
That
loser.
is true. He started it.
Someone in the chat said Lindsay's next pick sushi, at the game.
Okay, here we go. So my next one is going to be Nike losing out on a Steph Curry shoe deal. Did you guys hear about this?
Mhm.
You guys got this one? Okay, good. That's what we're going with.
Okay.
This is like when we did the superheroes draft, and she chose
And
all
she
villains.
won. She won.
Of course
They're
she
not
did.
villains. It's not my fault. You guys can't see the bigger picture.
Thanos is not right.
It's not
Lindsay
my fault. You can't see the bigger picture, Gerald.
drafted
Emma,
Thanos.
our
and
China chili is
Killmonger.
almost here. Can you go downstairs and get it, please?
Unreal.
Let's
Um,
go.
Is- She's got her second wind. So it's my turn now.
Yeah.
Okay, what pick are we on? 4th pick?
Yes.
I'm going to go ahead and go with Hasheem Thabeet. Hasheem Thabeet, number 2 overall pick.
All right. I'm back on the clock, correct?
Mm-hmm.
I got this one.
Is
I got
this-
this one. You guys carry on. I got this one. This is a
My arm is
pretty
big
sexy
time.
one. The Spurs will pick at number 20, Malaki Branham. I love Malaki Branham from Ohio State. He's probably the best shooter in the draft, in my opinion. And the crazy thing is he's gotten significantly better from one year to the next. He's again, like I said, he's the best shooter in the draft. Can score from all 3 angles. He's got sneaky bounce and can dunk on people very randomly. Very much a big fan of his. Why did you do? Okay, not you. You're good. Again, defensively, he's got a little bit of he's got some things to work on. Again, with the tight hips, but ball handling, shooting wise, feel for the game, he's right there with the best of them in this draft.
Do I have 2 picks or is this 1? I'm trying to keep track of this here.
You have 2.
You have 2.
Okay.
Because we're going 5, right?
These are your last 2
my,
picks.
my next one's my last one.
Did you take Kwame Brown?
Yeah, I did.
He's off the board.
He did
right?
take Kwame
Okay.
Brown.
Do I go local or do I go national? This is tough. I am going to go Kendall Marshall.
Ooh.
That's a
Phoenix
ballsy
flavor.
pick because he was only drafted 13th.
Yeah, but everybody thought he was going to be something here. So
Did they?
And you know what? If you allegedly hotbox an infant, you're going to make it on my draft bust list. Josh Jackson, come on down, buddy.
That's a good pick.
I don't think it was a good pick.
Josh
I'm
Jackson?
I'm going to tell you why in a second.
I think it's a good pick because of the base of people who are
Yes.
voting.
That was going to be my
Yes.
last pick.
I'm pandering to the people we have voting here.
Okay,
Josh
fair enough.
Jackson.
Fair
Yeah.
enough.
This is tough. I can go local guy or old school. I'm
Can you
gonna
go old school local guy?
I'm gonna go local guy. I'm gonna go Derek Williams with my last pick. Knew
That-
his name was gonna come at some
That
point.
hurts.
I
That
know.
hurts.
It's tough.
Minnesota pick, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lindsay.
Oh, it's my turn. Sorry, I
What's
wasn't
left
paying
on your
attention.
big board? Did we take any of yours?
At least Gerald finds the humor in this.
Isaiah
You two are
Thomas, I
just
have heard of the
mean.
Dano channel.
What did I take last time? Oh, the Steph Curry shoe deal.
Mhm.
So here's my thought. It's between 2. It's either Space Jam 2, and that's more pandering because I actually didn't hate it, but I know everyone hated it, or the Utah Jazz new uniforms because I know everyone hates those.
Just do Space Jam 2 because that was trash.
What do you think,
Because
Shane?
Girth has given up
Space
on
Jam
this.
2 or Utah Jazz? You guys suck. I'm gonna do Space
Just
Jam
go
2.
the Utah Jazz uniforms.
I mean, it is
Um,
relevant.
Alright.
I'm gonna do Space Jam. No, I'm
I-
gonna do Utah.
I have the last pick.
Yeah.
Well, I'm definitely going to pander to the Suns community then because I know Josh Jackson sucks.
If you shit on Dragan Bender, you and I are
He's
fighting
doing
right
it.
now.
yeah.
He's doing
They're
it.
fighting right
He's
now.
going man. I don't know if there's another player besides the Morai that I hate more than this guy. Marquise Chris can go
Oh,
fuck
okay.
the hell off.
Oh.
Okay.
Wait,
As long as it's
wait,
not
why?
Dragan.
Yeah, he was picked 8th overall and he sucked.
but why do you hate him? You made it sound like he did
Because
like
he's a
horrible
fake tough
things or
guy and I hate
something.
fake tough guys. That's
Okay.
why, basically.
Don't mess with Biz.
Yeah, you don't come after Biz.
I mean, that was pretty messed up.
That
I'm
was
not
trying to
gonna
get the
lie.
Biz.
That was
That's why
childish.
why Bookman hates me. It's because of my fake tough
All
guy.
right, couple of my favorite busts that weren't picked. Matt Leinart,
Yes.
Yes, he was on my
Adam
list.
Morrison,
He was on
one
my
of
list.
my favorite busts of all time. Sebastian Telfair for the Suns.
Yeah.
I was going to say Brian Bosworth.
Tim Tebow.
Can you count him? He was 25th and he won a playoff game. Is that really a bust?
He had a hell of a year.
Yeah.
He had that 1 year.
He had that 1 year.
Is
hated
that why
that.
you draft a quarterback to have a good year?
Well, but it's better than a lot of these other busts we
Yeah,
drafted.
a lot of these guys.
Josh
didn't have-
Rosen
A lot of
couldn't
these guys
last
didn't even have a
year.
good game.
Yeah.
I also want to shout out. You did say Adam Morrison. Andrea Bargnani was on my list there.
Yes. I couldn't pick against a fellow Italian. Could you?
No, I couldn't.
Well,
And he
we
did
got
have like 1 or 2 good.
Yeah,
Was
he
this the
did.
Nuggets?
Who be
Oh.
it?
The
Who
Nuggies.
be it?
The Nuggies.
Oh.
Who do we have the Nuggies?
So the Nuggets are taking Christian Braun at number 21.
Christian Braun.
Christian
Ooh,
Braun.
that's sexy.
Ooh.
I don't even have a player card for him.
You
Hold on,
don't?
hold on. The guy the Nuggets picked, there's no player card when we have a network.
He is
in
number
Denver.
okay. So on the Ringers big board, he's number 43.
Oh my God!
They just
Way
took
to
him
go!
21st.
Yeah. Christian Braun very much looked like, oh my gosh, the kid that also plays for Kansas that actually was from Tucson. I always confuse the two anyway. Mitch Lightfoot. They both played on the same team at the same time, and they looked the exact same guy. But Braun, again, perimeter shooter, can score. I think he was the best shooter on the Kansas Jayhawk team. Tough, can take it to the rack. A little limited defensively, but he's a tough kid.
He was
and I think
also really good in the Final Four.
he was really good in the Final Four. And I think for this Denver team, they need some fillers like that. They need some guys that are just ultimate team players, but that also have one skill set that you could always rely on. Because God knows MPJ ain't ever going to show up again because he's always going to be hurt.
I would love to have a live look on the DNVR guys right now that they took the
Just pull it up
Ringers.
on
Just pull it up on your
They-
phone. You have two screens on your
I know.
phone.
The,
He has three
the,
screens actually.
they take the
He has two on
they
that
take.
and one
I have
on
an
here.
iPad here too. I'm prepared for 5 hours or whatever the hell this is. Look, they take the 43rd highest ranked prospect. I talk about a reach here. I have a feeling they're either trying to convince themselves that this is a good pick, or they're despondent that it's not a good pick right now. I'm gonna take
Random.
that live and look, and you guys keep talking.
I don't know.
Random as hell.
That's
So
crazy.
do we
though.
want to review our snake draft picks? Just
Yeah,
so-
let's everybody read what they picked there. You want to start
I
since
don't
Espo's busy?
I don't remember.
Yeah,
remember
so
what
I
I
got
did.
Sam Bowie, Anthony Bennett, Johnny Manziel, Hashim Thabit, and Derek Williams.
You don't remember what you guys picked? Because I didn't write down the last half of the draft.
Oh, I thought you did.
Well,
That's
we
why
do
I
have it
stopped.
on film, so
We do
that
have
we
it
can
on film.
review.
I'm sure you
Okay.
can recite yours though.
Oh, mine? Yeah,
Yeah.
I got big baller brand shoes. Team USA getting bronze in 2004. Not renewing Ted Lasso for more seasons. Nike losing out on a Steph Curry shoe deal, and the Utah Jazz uniform.
I got Greg Oden, Kwame Brown, Darko Milicic, Jamarcus Russell, and Marquise Chris.
So it looks like the Nuggets fans are trying to convince themselves it was a good pick.
And
I had to
Espo,
look in there. Do you have my list?
I think so. He
Okay.
had Ryan Leaf,
Yes.
Michael Olowokandi,
Yes.
Josh Jackson,
Josh Rosen.
Josh Rosen, Josh Jackson,
and Kendall Marshall.
and Kendall Marshall.
Okay,
So
this will be fun.
this will be fun.
I'm
I
losing.
Swear
I
to
know I'm
God,
gonna
when
lose.
Lindsay wins, it's going to be so aggravating because she never plays by the rules.
How is that not within the parameters of sports busts?
Because it's
We
draft.
were talking about drafts.
No, because even Saul said we weren't talking specifically about the draft.
Well, literally said-
but I did say but by being a bust, it's naturally going to lead from a draft.
So you
I
did
did
have
say
Greg Oden, right? Somebody
Well,
in
it's
the
not my
chat.
fault.
said-
You
I
guys
said,
can't
okay,
think
you
outside
had
of the
him.
box.
Yeah, I picked Greg Oden.
I'm still this is technically still a sport.
Christian Braun
bust.
was invited to the draft, and he sat in the upper deck.
That means he wasn't invited to the draft. He
bought
bought
a
his own
ticket.
tickets.
Is that really what that means?
I'd assume
Did,
so. I don't.
did Christian Braun's mom just kiss Bill Self?
Hey,
That's how you get a scholarship.
that's how
I
you get
guess.
recruited, right?
That's how we do it in Kansas.
I'm gonna pull the
Come
draft out of that too.
on.
There. I like icon says the
Easy
biggest bust is
now.
my ex-wife choosing the married old guy over me.
Oh,
Wow,
no.
let's get personal.
You're living out the plot of Big Daddy, Adam
God.
Sandler.
Oh my goodness.
Oh,
got a
Old
5-year plan.
balls.
That's tough. I can't.
Are you guys surprised we haven't had any Suns news yet?
No,
No.
No.
Okay.
I don't. There's a good chance we go this entire night without any Suns news.
Yeah, it's entirely possible. I think we were all kind of if anything's going to happen, it's probably going to be in the second round anyway. So that would be my guess. And I think it's been very quiet on the trade front as far as like a lot of the names that were being floated. Like John Collins was supposedly supposed to go tonight, and it's not out of the question that still happens. But like,
Eric Gordon was
yeah,
one rumored to go.
there's not been a lot of trade activity.
I will say there's another pick that's in.
Yeah.
This is an interesting one as well. Are we ready? With the 22nd overall pick, Minnesota is picking Auburn 7-footer Walker Kessler at number 22. Kessler, you know what? What's so fascinating in a couple of these teams is for the thought that DA is playing a position that is going to be siloed out of the league. A lot of teams have decided to go with some big guys that are very limited overall. And Walker Kessler fits that mold to a T. He did improve overall from his freshman year to his sophomore year, but shot blocking is a strength because he's fucking tall. He's like 7, I think he's 7'2", actually. Can you bring those weaknesses back up there, buddy? Thanks. And I just think that, versatility for a team like Minnesota, this does not fit. I don't understand that. And you have Cat too. So this guy's going to play limited minutes in a backup role, and he can't even defend on the perimeter. That's why we have defensive versatility out there. What the fuck? Look, I don't get it.
But it's also
like he's super slow. Like not even like slow. He's like quicksand slow.
But it's also, if you're basing it on that argument that like centers being phased out, I don't think anyone intelligent is making that argument. I think the difference is this is a 22nd overall pick that's not wanting max money if you're relating it back to the DA conversation. Apples and oranges in that way. I don't like the pick either, just based on what I've read about him.
And we do have a trade.
Ooh, let's play the music.
Oh, man. No.
So, Philadelphia is trading the number 23 pick for Lindsay's bestie, Memphis guard DeAnthony Melton.
Why is that a no to you?
Well, for starters, I
That's
love
a good
De'Anthony
thing.
Melton, and all it took was the 23rd pick to get him. Second, that means that the Grizzlies are definitely keeping Tyus Jones, because if you don't have Melton, you're bringing back Tyus Jones. So that's one potential option as far as a backup point guard for the Suns off the board.
But you've weakened them in some regards, in terms of another option. That
but I wasn't
there.
worried about the Grizzlies anyway. They don't worry me.
Everybody in the West worries me right now until otherwise said. But back to your point on centers. I don't think that it's that centers are being played out of the league. They just can't be your highest paid guys unless they're Embiid, Jokic, those kind of guys. But we're seeing a resurgence in center talent in terms of versatility or defensively in some ways. So it doesn't surprise me teams are trying to draft these guys from a defensive standpoint.
What? Oh my gosh. We got another pick.
What is it?
What
is
my
it?
All right. Well, I guess the Grizzlies are targeting Colorado State's David Roddy at number 23, which means that they picked. Why they picked him? Because they traded the Minnesota stuff. So that's why you're getting confused right now. But David Roddy, listen, phenomenal player for the Mountain West. Or is it the WAC? One of those two.
CSU, I think it's the Mountain West.
The Mountain West, yeah.
I think so.
Colorado State. They have him listed in the draft combine as a power forward. He's 6'4". I'm sorry, he's not the next Charles Barkley. I promise you that. But he's a very, very good player. The problem with him is going to be I'm not a fan of tweeners, guys that are in between positions, not like small, but like I've seen it too many times where a guy's in between positions, which means he doesn't really have a position. And where is he going to fit on this team? He's going to be too small to face actual power forwards in the NBA, and he's going to be too slow to guard guys on the perimeter to the degree that you're going to need him to. However, IQ-wise, intangibles, being able to score with the tools that he has, he could play at a very, very high level. It's just the Grizzlies are probably that one team that could find a way to make it work. They just seem like that kind of grind mentality. They don't really care. They don't have surefire, clear-cut positions, if you will. They'll fit you. They will fit a square peg into a round hole if they think it'll improve them. So that's a very interesting pick for the Grizz.
Yeah, he feels like their kind of guy.
Yeah,
I don't think molds really matter in Memphis the way they approach things. So we'll see what they can get out of him. For sure.
The brief description here on him says supersized wing with shot creation skills, but players with his body type rarely succeed in the NBA.
Yeah. So he's a smaller version of Ish Wainwright, if you will.
Everybody's a smaller version.
It's true. It's true.
I'm not
It's
sure
true.
that's how I'd want to be described, but all right. No knock on Ish, but
All right,
that is
pick number
fascinating.
23. We
just
are.
talked about no trades, and now we have a
And now
couple
we got a
trades. and I'm
couple,
like,
yeah.
what? That's crazy.
There were no trades involving very big name players. See if it works.
They heard you.
Oh shit! It did work.
No, shut
No,
up.
well, not really. I'll dial it back. 76ers moved Danny Green and number 23 to Memphis as part of the trade with DeAnthony
Danny
Melton.
Green.
To Memphis.
He did get hurt though recently, didn't he? He tore something, so I don't know if he's even going to play this upcoming
Oh,
season.
at the end of the season, he did.
Yeah,
I think
tore his
Embiid landed on his
ACL
leg.
and ACL and left knee
So he
during their
won't-
Game 6 loss.
Yeah, so he probably won't even play
So
this
he'd be a
year.
guy that would
Yeah,
come back in March or April, so likely a non-factor. Just
But what I do
so I
like
got
about
prematurely.
But what I do love about Danny Green is the fact that he shit all over Pat Bev for calling Chris Paul a cone.
yes,
I do like that.
yes, that was good of him to do that. This is the moral thing to do. Thank you, Danny.
It was the moral thing to do.
Is anybody else's behind hurt?
Well, you can get up and
Behind-
walk around.
I'm gonna need to soon.
Yeah,
we're not judging. You
Killing
can go
me.
if you need.
I'm
And
just
Lindsay
gonna
never
sit
came
down.
back. She grabbed her China chili and left. It came in a perfect
I'm
to-go
just gonna
box.
sit like this for 5 minutes, okay?
Say however you want, Lindsay. What's been the biggest surprise for you guys so far? I mean, has there been anything that's really caught you off guard at this point?
Just the lack
Just
of.
the Denver Nuggets pick. The Denver Nuggets taking that guy so
Nuggets.
early. That's what I'm gonna go with
What are you
I'm
laughing about?
because I'm sitting. like
Lindsay
Lindsay
this.
on the
disappearing.
Poof.
I'm gonna say the
gone.
lack of just like trades because this was supposed to be a very trade-heavy draft day, and we've gotten some trades for sure, but like the biggest names have been like DeAnthony Melton and an injured Danny Green so far.
Yeah, I think that surprises me too. I was expecting some kind of big moves, or at least some. We're hearing that so and so are discussing a deal about this guy, kind of thing. We haven't gotten much of that tonight. We haven't really heard any rumblings about the Suns. I thought we might get they're kicking the tires on this, or this is not that something would happen, but they'd at least be mentioned. And we have heard nothing when it comes to the Phoenix Suns.
I do feel like with a lot of the second round stuff, it's usually like reported at the same time. Like this team is taking this unknown player that you don't know of because they bought this pick from this team that was supposed to go here. Like it'll usually be reported in one fell swoop. So that might be when we get something to go off of.
Gerald, at the top of the show, you were saying you think more in the second round, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, I think if they're going to do something, they'll buy a pick in the second round, maybe 40s, but we'll see.
Which is so uncharacteristic for the Suns.
Buying
Buying a
also,
pick.
I don't know if you've followed Kai Soto on Suns Twitter, but he is definitely somebody that everybody really wants to get.
Wasn't he in that
He's
Star Wars show?
He's a 7'2" Filipino shooter, lefty. He would be the first Filipino to ever be drafted in the NBA.
I love that.
That's why I
That's
knew
dope.
that nugget.
Yeah.
Not because I was like, oh, what country is he from?
Mhm.
And he's improved significantly from the outside. And so 7'2", can shoot from the perimeter. Obviously, people are like, oh my God, that's the diamond in the rough that we need.
Hold on. This is the guy that everybody's freaking out. A 7'2" left-hander that they want in
That can
in
shoot
this?
from the three, yeah.
Okay. God, this is going to be the new.
If they get
This is gonna
a
be the
pick-
new Jalen Smith,
If they
isn't
get a
it?
pick in the second round, and the Suns don't pick Kai Soto, Twitter will burn. It will.
I feel a Kai Soto song coming up next season.
Oh
He's
my
going to be Jalen
gosh.
Smith.
So he's like
here for everybody.
the less heralded like Bol, basically.
I don't think we have any lefties here at PHNX, do we?
No, I don't think so.
I kick lefty, but
That's it.
that's
you
it.
kick lefty?
Yeah, so like soccer, kickball.
Yeah,
I'll kick
I'm
lefty.
right-handed in everything except for frisbee and pool.
I was gonna say every time I play pool, people say I shoot lefty too, and I didn't realize that.
Did you know that left-handed came from the word in Latin? Sinister. Sinister is the word for left-handed, right?
We have our next guest.
Because people
All
thought
right, let me sit
left-handed
up.
people were sinister. Is where the word sinister came from. Just a
Okay.
fun fact.
I'll act professional for this.
All right.
Okay.
Now joining us from the great city of Tucson, ESPN's Corey Williams, college basketball analyst. Corey, what's cracking, my man?
Not much. What's going on?
You got well. First of all, why are you wearing that shirt?
Man, first of all, let me explain something to you. This is the only time when the Cowboys are undefeated. We ain't messed up. So I can rock my Cowboy gear because we 0-0. So you already know I got until September to rock my gear because they're gonna start messing up this fall.
I got you. Your connection's breaking up a little bit. I'm not sure if
he's got Wi-Fi as good as the Cowboys right there.
You're talking about the Cowboys being undefeated, but his internet is taking shots, so I don't know what's going on. So anyway, yeah, you're kind of breaking up. So I don't know if you want to try and circle back with us, but we can't really make out what you're saying on that end.
Yeah, let me jump out and I'll come back.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, Corey's got that Detroit of Arizona internet connection there down in Tucson. So.
Anyway,
He's got the Walmart internet.
Corey's going to come on and kind of talk about some of the guys that he's seen over here in some of the smaller conferences, guys that could be sleeper picks in the second round and stuff like that. So, we got another pick for the Milwaukee Bucks. I don't know who it is. So I'm just
here. Everybody's waiting.
I don't know how to say that.
Our MarJon Beauchamp.
Okay.
Yes. G League Ignite. He's a wing 3-and-D player. Stop me if you've heard that before. Actually, not a total 3-and-D player because the perimeter shooting for him is a little suspect.
So
but
he's a D player.
He's just a D player, like defensive upside. He can score, but again, like scorers are not necessarily shooters all the time. Like. So in athleticism, obviously he's got that off the charts. So a pretty good prospect. And if you're the Bucks have obviously experience developing prospects, Giannis. So I think Corey is back now.
Bring Corey back in here.
All right. I think we got Corey now. Corey, you good?
I don't know. You tell me.
Yeah, that's a little bit better there. There we go. Corey, there's been a lot of murmuring, and I don't know how much you've been following the Suns, obviously, from down in Tucson. But in your estimation, with a guy like Deandre Ayton, let's just jump straight to that. What do you think the Suns should do with Deandre Ayton?
You got to pay the man. I mean, plain and simple. The way I look at it is, what's your other option? I mean, he's one of the best young big men in the NBA. The fans love him. He's produced. Yeah, he got outplayed by Giannis in the finals, but who doesn't? I mean, the upside of him is tremendous. So my question is, if you don't pay Ayton, what are you doing? What are you choosing? You can't choose to not pay Ayton without choosing something else. And I don't see what that option is. I mean, your wing play is great. You may need to get a little younger at the point guard spot, but you got all the other bases covered. All you need is a serviceable big man to stay in the Western Conference Finals for the next 2 or 3 seasons. So I just say you pay him, and you know he's going to get better. He's gotten better every year.
Corey, what was kind of your take on this Suns season and the way that it ended? Because I think obviously a lot of people were surprised. They have the best record in franchise history. They're 8 games better than everybody else. It feels like this is their year, and then it just all falls apart. What did you kind of think of the way that season ended?
My frustration comes from the fact that the Suns should have known better. 82 games, buckets are easy to come by. Nobody's really locked in defensively, and they showed up and they posted the best record in the NBA. Congratulations. Now you got a series against a team that has nothing else to focus on except harassing Chris Paul, getting into Devin Booker, taking away your pick and roll, taking away your downhill penetration from Bridges, and taking away everything. So game planning is what the playoffs is about. And I was super disappointed because the Suns didn't seem to have a second level. When they got taken off their first and second options, which is Chris Paul playing around with the ball and throwing a million assists to guys knocking down threes or, running lobs to Ayton at the rim, when that was taken away, and I was on Monty Williams a little bit about this too, they didn't seem to have an adjustment. Okay, you're going to go big, you're going to harass Chris Paul. I mean, you rested this guy for 3 weeks before the playoffs started? And to see them not counter. I mean, a good NBA team is going to have 2 or 3 counters. You saw that with Golden State. They took away Clay, they took away Steph. Steve Kerr countered with Wiggins, and Wiggins took more shots than Clay and Steph. That was Golden State's counter to what they were doing defensively. I was just super frustrated that the Suns didn't have a higher level to get to. And I'll be honest, for them to get beat by a one-man show, that was it was unreal. I mean, lots of credit to Luka, but you can't have 3 stars and get beat by one dude. You just can't. And they did. And it was sad to see.
Let's shift our focus to the draft tonight, Corey. What has surprised you so far that you've seen happen in this draft?
Not a lot of surprises. I mean, you're going to go with height. You see the bigs going early. You can't teach height. You can't train height. You draft it. You develop it. Athleticism. These kids showing great athleticism. I was pretty certain that Holmgren wasn't going to be the number 1 pick. I think the way that the NBA played now with it being so physical, and I'll tell you right now, and you call me crazy, you know, people were putting his name and Kevin Durant's name in the same sentence, which I thought was just blasphemy. They were saying Sean Bradley, which I also thought was blasphemy. But I'll tell you, Saul, what I think hurt is he struck me as the Anthony Davis. People see how fragile Anthony Davis is in crunch time. And I think a lot of people chose to go with a more athletic, physical guy at number 1 and number 2 than Chet, because you've seen thin, wiry players struggle when it really counts. And that's unfortunate, but I think that's the narrative in the NBA. So you get the athletes, you get the physical players, and you try to develop them. So not a lot of surprises. Dalen Terry creeping down into the first round. We're talking about a guy who wasn't a starter, a guy who was a role player who made a huge splash in the tournament postseason. I think he improved his stock. That to me, the Bulls grabbing him was probably the only surprise to me so far for the first round.
All right, well, we're on the heels of the second round. Who do you think might be a sleeper pick in that?
Not too many, you know, it's hard to tell because it's about going to the right team. You know, of the guys projected to go in the second round, to be honest with you, the only one I'm vaguely familiar with is Koloko. You know what he can do. The question is he going to be put in a situation where he's has to be a rim protector, where he's going to get some development? That's always going to be interesting to see what goes on with him. But I don't know in terms of sleepers. I couldn't honestly say I know that much about second round picks. It's kind of been a trend the last. Maybe I'm going to sound old, like an old grouchy guy, but the first round of NBA draft hasn't been solid for 15 years. We get outside of 8, 9, and 10, and I don't know any of those guys. And they're not being drafted to be impact players. So I wish I had more intelligent things to say on sleepers. But to be honest with you, once we get outside of 15, we're looking at bench players, G League guys that are going to get 2-way contracts. You know, Saul, you're going to hate me, but back in my day, no, I'm just kidding. But for the young people out there, I graduated in '96. You Google that draft, damn near everybody in the first round was an NBA starter. You Google the '95 draft with Kevin Garnett, pretty much they were drafting pieces to a franchise because they were 4-year players. And those days are so long gone, 20-something years ago. I think GMs and scouts will tell you honestly, we're drafting projects. We're drafting guys that we think will be players in 3 or 4 seasons.
Which is why maybe James Jones doesn't want to play the draft game very much. Okay, I have one player from the early on in the first round then that I just want to get your thoughts on. Saul's not a huge fan, but how do you feel about Jeremy Sochan?
I look as an analyst, I look at what's wrong with a guy. So it's hard for me to give out critiques because I'm always looking for the flaw or the thing that I can have the viewer watch and say, hey, this guy's great. But I think he's a solid player. He's got athleticism. I don't expect great things because I see the way the NBA is going in terms of it being physical. I don't really see an impact. I don't see him having an impact the way that, and this is what I wanted to touch on if you give me a second. What's so different about the NBA now in the last 10 seasons is that you have the narrative and you have reality. And the narrative is 50 million TV shows, social media, Twitter, and the narrative can crush a lot of these guys' careers and label them a bust. And it's kind of unfair because you've got a lot of people commenting. They set the expectation for Zion Williams to be the next Charles Barkley. They set the expectation for Chet Holmgren to be the next Kevin Durant. And if they fall short of something that someone made up on the internet, then everyone labels them a bust. Literally, teams walk away from them. They don't get extended for big money. And it's kind of like, guys, we're talking about a player who's only 21, 22, 23 years old, but the narratives are so massive. So it's hard for me. I don't like to critique kids publicly because I don't want to be a part of that. But when I look at his game, it's solid, but it's not something that I'm going to write home about.
That's basically exactly what I said there, Corey. So I appreciate you backing me up on that. Thank you so much for joining.
A hater like me. We share.
We know.
If this was Star Wars, me and Saul are on the dark side.
It's very true.
Negative energy.
Very, very true. Not only in how we analyze things, but the color we are. So, yeah, there we go.
Of course.
All right, brother. I appreciate you, Corey. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. Stay well.
Bye.
Go Cowboys. This
Oh,
our
come
year,
on, man.
Saul.
Cut
This our year,
cut the
baby.
feed, man. Cut the
We
feed.
know where the Cowboys can go. Don't you worry, Corey.
Oh, man.
All right, you guys take it easy.
You too.
Corey does some terrific things down in Tucson for the
That was
Tucson
funny.
Summer Pro League. A bunch of kids coming out and acting like they get the professional experience with the loudspeakers and everything like that, and
That's
the music
fun.
going on. The kids love it, and it's all free for those kids. So it's pretty dope.
That's
he does a good
awesome.
job.
We
for
forgot to
the community
check
down
in on his Chris Paul bathtub.
there. I didn't want to set my man up for failure like that because I know my guy was like, dude, he is scrubbing in the tub right now. So
He stayed
yeah.
a
So
dip.
we got two of these. You guys ready for some
Let's
fun
do it.
fun
Let's
noises?
Yeah.
Do it.
ooh, trade. Oh,
Back to back.
What do we got here?
Sounders.
And we missed one. So the first one we have the Blake Wesley goes to San Antonio,
Okay.
and then Wendell Moore goes to Houston, or goes to Houston via Dallas. It's Dallas's pick. So Houston
Gotcha.
trades for
Gotcha.
Wendell Moore.
Okay. All right.
And
well, let's-
Minnesota acquired the pick from Houston via the Christian Wood trade with Dallas.
Gotcha. A lot of
Hold-
complexities.
Hold
there.
on. So who has the pick then?
So Minnesota is landing Wendell Moore. They acquired that pick from Houston as part of the Christian Wood trade with Dallas.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Okay.
And then we also have, so Steven in the chat mentioned the 3 draft picks that the Knicks got from OKC in the number 11 trade. So they're all 2023 protected first rounders. And Steven in the chat asked if those are potentially picks that can be flipped for Kyrie.
It all roads lead back to KD to Phoenix, right?
Everything. Let's go back to Blake Wesley for a second. We'll come back to this real quick. Blake Wesley, I had the opportunity to watch him in the first 2 rounds of the tournament this year. He is very good defensively. He's very explosive. Has great ball skills, understands and anticipates things at a very high level. I like Blake Wesley a lot. I think him going to the Spurs is phenomenal. So that's a great pick by the Spurs. Shooting wise, he's not the greatest shooter in the world, but he can finish around the rim. He's got a good feel. He's a great role player. He's a superb role player. He's not going to be anything more than that.
Which is what the Spurs are built on, though.
Yep.
A supreme role player.
For sure. And then next, we have Wendell Moore. Do we want me to keep
was
going on these two
aggressive.
guys?
Is it 3 or 4 Duke guys now in the first
Well, that's
round?
4 in the first round, but 3 of them are absolute That's the best thing I could say. That's not
Nah,
me.
that's actually listed on his weakness.
Wendell Moore is an okay player. He is, and he's going to be a serviceable role player. But I just don't see him having a high level of contribution in the NBA. I just don't. I think a lot of these guys from Duke are going to end up being 9, 10, 11, 12 roster guys. I just do.
I mean, I guess if you're
Sorry.
taking at this point in the first round, though, you're taking flyers on guys that maybe can become
True.
something. Like you're not taking guys that are sure things at this point. So I don't think it's that much of a reach this late in the first round to try to get a guy that has some upside, that has good basketball IQ, and maybe you can turn him into a diamond in the rough on a Minnesota team that's on the come up. So I don't mind that too much.
This China chili's so bomb. God.
All right, yeah, I'm gonna sit up. I'm gonna be out of focus for a minute. So we got shrimp rice. What's that one?
Yeah, let's
Okay,
so
I'll do a little bit of the noodles and rice.
We have shrimp rice.
Share the spread with everybody.
We have shrimp rice.
What's the spread from China chili here? So
Yeah,
give it to the people.
we're eating
So-
China chili tonight.
Here at China Chili, this is what we got. We got a little house chicken because you got to go with the house chicken. It's probably the best thing on the menu. Always go spicy because it's not very spicy. Then we got some orange chicken. Then we got a combo fried rice with a little bit of shrimp, chicken, beef, the whole 9 yards, right? Then we have some white rice, and then we have some vegetable lo mein.
Also, the lemongrass chicken is super bomb. It's kind of a weird thought at first when you read it on the menu, but I really like it.
My favorite thing about China chili is if you work downtown and you have 15 minutes to
you
get a
can
meal
get lunch
in,
so
boom,
well.
and
Yeah.
it's plated. Like this
Yes.
is not fast food, but it's fast food
They
if you know
don't
what I'm
mess
saying.
around when it comes to the lunch hour. They make sure that you have time to drive, sit down, have a nice meal, and drive back.
It's unbelievable how fast they are, and the food is spectacular. We're now allowing everybody from the PHNX staff to just get in here and scoop up. So please forgive whatever the hell this camera shot's going to be for a while.
SBO said China Chili has to be my favorite restaurant in Phoenix. It's damn good. I'm with you. It's definitely in my top 10 for sure.
I had never been. I worked down here for combined 7-8 years before coming here. Never been to China Chili.
Yeah, but you were downtown.
Yeah.
You weren't off town.
But I was uptown in one of my jobs. Never heard of it.
You didn't get anything?
Then you guys brought it in.
Did you get nervous?
The pressure. Sean with the pressure of being on camera. We've got another pick in.
Pick is in. All right, what we got here, Shane? If you played the noise, you got to say it now.
Well, I thought. Well, you said our boy, so I thought you understood. It's
I do.
It's Nikola Jovic.
Look.
Jovic.
It's the bedazzled. They were gemstones on this suit.
I was right.
Sorry, I took us way off.
Gemstones, not rhinestones. Nikola Jovic, not to be confused with Nikola Jokic. I'm glad they both aren't playing for the Denver Nuggets because that would suck to be commentator
awesome.
for.
That would have been awesome.
He is, again, when we talk about high ceiling but high risk, Nikola Jovic is definitely in that category. He can shoot. He's a good playmaker. Offensive versatility is at a high, but a lot of European players where they struggle is defensively. And defensively, the physicality, he's a very scrawny kid. It's going to be a project. But a lot of teams were very high on Nikola Jovic. I'm kind of surprised he lasted this long, but I mean, hell, who
Miami
took him?
him.
Miami took him.
Which, Miami, you get a guy in that system, They usually are pretty good with these later picks. They get guys that have talent that can work in the NBA. Very much what James Jones is trying to accomplish here in Phoenix. He learned from Pat Riley out there. So I am surprised he lasted this long. I'm the moron that picked him to go.
had him top 10.
I had plus 2,500 on top 10, I figured I'd take a swing.
Hey, Sean, can you play me up?
Yeah, well, hey,
play
I'm
me
all
up.
about big risk, big reward when it comes to bets. But I'll be interested to see how this kid pans out. But I really wanted him to go to Denver because there's nothing like two guys named basically the same on the same roster. It's so much fun when that happens. As you can tell, my knowledge and depth of knowledge on Serbian basketball limited outside of names and Nikola Jokic.
You ate up a good amount of time though while they're figuring the food
That's what
situation out.
I was trying to figure. I can talk while other people eat. I'm fine with that.
Did you know the Queen of England owns all the geese in England?
Shut up, Shane. What? Can I bring up a topic? We're well into the first
wait. Did you hear what Lindsay just said?
No, I did not hear what Lindsay said.
What Lindsay
She
say?
totally was like, she handed Sean the plate and said, hey, hook it up with some nudes.
You guys haven't heard that? Anytime somebody says send nudes, it's for
Yes.
noodles.
Yes.
That's
I've
what it
seen
is.
that.
Oh, yeah.
It's a
Every
meme.
time when
It's
people say that, that's
2022. We had
exactly what
moved on. It was
It's
just like
nudes.
2020 or
It was a
19. We had
meme.
moved
Come
on to
on.
nudes being noodles.
Send
come
nudes.
on.
Never been what it's meant when I say it.
I've never,
Okay,
I've
well,
never.
N-
you better get with the times.
NOODS.
Yeah.
Send
Yes,
nudes.
nudes.
Exactly.
Anyways.
How many nudes would you
Hey.
I'm just letting you. That's fine.
None from you, Sean. Anyways,
Speak for yourself.
a topic I've wanted
Would you
to.
like any nudes?
Oh,
I'm going home.
Shane does want
a
nudes.
topic I've wanted to bring up.
Espino, still trying to drive the
I'm
train.
trying to.
Just busted
I'm
right
trying
through
to.
it.
Now you know how I feel.
Yeah,
Car's on
I'm
fire.
Knowing, believe me, I've done this with this group too. Don't worry. A topic I want to bring up before we get out of the first round. The dumbest thing in the NBA when it comes to the draft. A guy gets drafted and he has to go up there and get a hat, but he's traded before they even take the picture. And the NBA, because it can't be official yet, forces them to take the picture
I agree with
with the team's hat on. So in perpetuity, his draft night photo is him with a hat from a team he's never going to play on. I hate that.
I
Yeah.
agree with you. I think I get the whole idea of it needing to be official or whatever, but like, has there happened any time in like recent history
It's
at
all the
least
same.
where they've said this trade can't be completed?
Even if they do, I mean, take pictures with both hats and don't
Exactly.
post them to the photo service until the trade's official.
That's a great way to put it, to do like a workaround. At least take pictures with both. Because then these people, like, these are photos that are really big moments in their life, and now they have something that doesn't represent the team that they're starting their career with.
You've got Rajon Rondo with a Suns hat. You've got Luol Deng with a Suns hat from his draft photo. It's ridiculous to me. It's one of those things. It's inconsequential. It really doesn't matter, but it drives me nuts.
We got an update as well on the Knicks, the Pistons-Knicks whole thing that's going on. The Knicks will also be acquiring the Bucks 2025 first-round pick. So I think
That's
they're
three
getting
or
four
Yeah.
first rounders for number
This is
11.
the Kyrie Irving poo-poo platter.
Wait, say
the
that
Knicks are
one more
trying to put
time, Gerald.
together.
I'm sorry.
So the Knicks are getting the Bucks 2025 first round pick in that Pistons Knicks Hornets trade, and they were already getting a Washington top 14 protected pick, a Denver top 14 protected pick, and a Detroit top 18 protected pick.
So they now have 4 first-round picks they can deal for Kyrie Irving.
Wow.
And the
Or
cap
somebody
space to get
else,
him.
yeah. But yeah, that's interesting. They really turned that number 11 pick into a smorgasbord of assets there.
Yeah,
That's
they got
such a
some
great
mileage
word.
out of it.
Thank you.
Smorgasbord?
Mm-hmm. That's what I feel like. That was what I was going for with dinner tonight.
I love that Sean's been in the shot for like 6 minutes now.
Should we get him a chair?
Mic him up already.
He's hooking up the whole fam, man.
Oh, I see how it is.
He's taking care of the people.
Hey, a pick's in. Sean has selected Lo Mein with his pick.
I'm pretty sure the Warriors are taking this pick. I know who the pick is, but
Yeah.
I don't know if it's a trade.
It's the Warriors.
It is Patrick Baldwin.
Ooh.
What you think, so?
Ooh. So Patrick Baldwin made the extreme mistake of going to play for your dad instead of going to play for a good school, and he suffered because of it. He didn't play as well as he could have. He was projected. He was like a top 5 recruit in the country, but he wanted to go play for his dad over at Milwaukee, and fucked everything up. However, tremendous upside. And when you're thinking about the Warriors and their development, Jesus, this could ultimately pay off big time for them, because he very much fits that mold of the type of player they've been going after, like Jordan Poole, Kuminga, things like that. So, I mean, this is a tremendous pick for the Warriors.
Look, the Warriors are the exact argument against what James Jones feels about the draft.
Yes.
Because they've maximized late round and second round picks to make sure that their back half of the roster is both cheap and effective, right? And that speaks to Steve Kerr, Mayers, that whole front office there,
which is
Golden
so
State.
true. It is true. However, they also had to be they benefited off of misfortune in the best
course.
possible way, because if Clay doesn't get hurt the way he gets hurt, then
And
the
Steph doesn't break his
playing
hand.
time, the playing time doesn't become as abundant, and players like Jordan Poole and Kuminga and these other guys don't get as much time to develop. But that's their development system is the reason why they escalated that process to another level compared to other teams.
And they have a solid G League team as well, which has traditionally been one of the better ones. By the way, you bring up Milwaukee, underrated college town. I can tell you from a personal experience at Marquette, Milwaukee slaps as a college town. Like, it is fun. I'm gonna tell you that. It's a great bars, great town. Outside of the fact that it snows like a mother, I don't blame him for wanting to be in Milwaukee as a college.
He was
student.
supposed to be a lottery pick. That's
Well,
how bad he played this year. But he put up good numbers, though.
Yeah, he was supposed to be a lottery pick, and it turned out so bad he's going to the defending champs in a team that will probably utilize him and develop him in the way he needs to be.
And that's why having lots of dedicated scouts for drafting purposes is important, because you can identify those kind of diamonds in the rough, which they've done better than
development too.
Yep.
Yeah, that's probably smart.
Yep.
Okay, hold on. Let me put this food down.
All right, we have another guest joining us on the program as the first round wraps up here. It is one of my favorite guys that I've ever had the chance to work with. Yes, Saul, I like him better than you. It is Casey Jacobson. Casey, how are you, my man?
Stop it, Espo. You say that to all your guests. Bro.
That's not true. That's not true. Only the good ones like you, Casey. Look, man, I want to start here. You've been watching the draft tonight. You know college better than anybody else. The year they took Jalen Smith, you saved our Saul and my ass because we didn't know anything about Jalen Smith. But what surprised you in the first round so far tonight? Did anything catch your eye that you went, I like that move?
Yeah, the 23rd pick of David Roddy. I'm sure there are a lot of casual basketball fans who have never seen David Roddy play. I called probably 5 Colorado State games for FS1 this past year, so I'm very familiar with the Rams and David Roddy, and he is such a unique player. And I think he got traded. He got picked by 76ers, but traded recently to Memphis. And there's a reason why Memphis went after him, because he's an older young player, right? I think he's 22 years old. He's ready physically. He can play both ends of the floor, and Memphis is an up-and-coming team. So that's a sneaky 23rd pick to me that I think you'll see David Roddy in the rotation a little bit as a role player for the Grizz. But to me, it's a really interesting pick, and one that, like, you know, I get emotionally attached to some of these players, and I like underdog stories, and David Roddy is certainly one of those. But, like, no, there weren't any surprises to me in the top 4 or 5 pick. I love this draft. I think it's one of the deeper ones of the past 5-6 years. So I'm excited to see these guys grow.
You're not concerned that David Roddy is kind of positionless to a degree in terms of size and just overall skill level? Like, to me, he's obviously a very, very. They haven't listed him as a power forward in the combine, but I mean he's not a very tall guy. So how do you think he's going to fare in terms of what position he can find himself in the NBA?
It's a fair question, and it's the reason why he didn't go in the top 10. Because honestly, if a guy like David Roddy is 6'7", then he's a top 10 pick. You know, he is undersized, but because in college he played the 4 spot, the power forward spot. He's not going to be a 4. He can guard a 4 in the NBA, but he's not going to be a 4. He's going to be more of a 3, and that's good because he's going to give a lot of wings in the NBA a hard time. They're going to have a hard time blocking him off if he crashes the offensive glass. They're going to have a hard time guarding him in the post. He's a two-way player. So, yes, that he has weaknesses just like every player in the NBA. His weakness is his height or lack of it, but he makes up for it with tremendous three-point shooting and a pretty good handle and just a kind of ferocious rebounder. He's going to be a handful for a lot of people.
So there's been rumors that the Suns might try and get into the second round here. Any sleepers that you kind of have your eye on maybe?
Well, I have my eye on all kinds of players. There's so many guys that I love. I mean, if you name a few that are still on the board right now, and I'll tell you some of my favorites.
Nemhard from Gonzaga.
Who?
Nemhard?
Nemhard.
I'm sorry, Nemhard. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Point guard for Gonzaga. Yeah, really good. His younger brother is going to be a sophomore at Creighton, so he comes from a basketball family. His younger brother's a stud too. If you're looking for a backup point guard guy, so if you're an already established team and you need a guy that could come in and spell your starter for 15 to 20 minutes, kind of like what Peyton Pritchard did for the Boston Celtics throughout this year's playoffs, Andrew Nemhard could be your guy. So absolutely. Name some more, though. I like them all.
Well, didn't Kai Soto come up in the chat earlier?
Yeah, people, I don't know why Suns fans are enamored with Kai Soto, the big 7'2" Filipino center who could shoot from the perimeter. Has developed quite a bit over the last couple of years. Do you know much about him at all?
I don't, but people are always, including me, enamored with 7-footers who can shoot. Sign me up for those guys. There's a reason why those guys get drafted, because they can get shots up anytime they want. And 7 feet guys seem to just be able to do things a lot easier, like rebound and defend, even if they're not super athletic or super fast.
What about Coloco out of Arizona, right?
Christian Coloco.
Yeah. So to me, he is absolutely a guy that should go towards the high end of the second round to me. And here's why. Christian Coloco's one of those guys who got better every single year in college. You probably didn't even notice him his freshman year at Arizona. He's from Southern California, played in the Los Angeles area, and was super duper skinny, like too skinny, when he was coming out of high school. And Arizona took him because of potential. They thought they can put 20 pounds on him and then he'd become a beast. And they were right. He's always been a good defensive player. Christian Coloco is the defending Pac-12 Defensive Player of the Year for good reason. He altered more shots than anybody in college outside of Chet Holmgren, I would say. Just a tremendous shot blocker. But what I didn't see coming was Christian Coloco developed into an offensive force. Now, I'm not saying he's a great, 15-foot jump shooter, but he has moves in the post, an incredible touch around the rim, and he's a good lob guy, which translates. That skill translates really easily at the NBA level. A guy who can pick and roll, and you just throw it up to the corner of the backboard, and he can grab it with one or two hands and throw it down.
Casey, EJ Liddell's another name that's come up a lot. Are you kind of surprised he's slipped a little bit this far?
Well, yes and no. So I was surprised that David Roddy gets picked 23rd. That's a spot that I thought EJ Liddell would get, right? In the mid to late 20s. EJ Liddell just finished his junior year at Ohio State, covered them a ton at Fox this year. And he too is undersized for the position he played in college, which was, again, power forward, the 4 spot. At 6'7", maybe 6'8". I'm not sure what they officially list him at. He's really stout though. Like he's as strong of a dude you'll see. And he's got a great perimeter game. He can handle the ball. He can pass. Sometimes Ohio State ran the offense through him. Has a really good mid-range pull up off the glass. He big boyed a lot of people down low. And I'm not sure he can do that at the NBA level. Because he's not like super athletic. He doesn't finish over guys. A lot of times he finished through players at the college level. But yeah, he's a guy that he knows how to play, man. He's like grown man strength, knows how to play, and can shoot the perimeter shot. Of the weaknesses in his game, besides his lack of height, his shot sometimes is really flat. If you watch him on film, like pull up YouTube clips of him, he made a good percentage, shot around 40% from 3, but in late games, sometimes the trajectory on a shot is really flat. I would often watch his game and be like, dang, EJ, you got to put that thing up in the air, give it a chance to go in. So that's something that he can work on, but he's got a really nice foundation of a game.
2 prospects before we move on to Deandre Ayton, as we all want to talk about. One, Isaiah Mobley, and then second, Jaden Hardy. Do you think Isaiah Mobley, first of all, will even get drafted? And then Jaden Hardy, both of their prospects here in the second round, possibly?
I think someone will take a chance on Isaiah Mobley in the second round for a couple of reasons. Might be one of the smartest front court players. If you watched Evan Mobley, his younger brother, who was just awesome. I think he finished second in Rookie of the Year votes for the Cleveland Cavs. Evan has always been ranked higher than Isaiah, is more athletic, just kind of like glides around the floor, where Isaiah is a little bit more slow and kind of a plodding runner. And I say that with all due respect. Where Isaiah is better than Evan is the fact that he's kind of can be a more of a point guard offensively. I would say that Isaiah is more of an all-around offensive player as far as making the right pass, or he can play with his back to the basket in the post. He was the best passer that USC had this year. I think he led them in points, rebounds, assists, blocks, and maybe steals, or he was second in steals. He was one of the only players in all of college basketball to lead his team in that many categories. So just, kind of an all-around talent. But I'm not sure there's one thing that he does so excellent that it will easily translate to the NBA. He just does a lot of really good things well. So if you can find a spot to do that, I think he could, like maybe a guy that you can compare him to would be Slow-Mo. Kyle Anderson, played with the Spurs out of UCLA, like not super fast, but just does everything a little bit well and is a really smart player. That's what I would compare him to.
Before we move on to Deandre Ayton talk, Casey, you obviously love the college game, see value in young talent. There was an article that came out yesterday talking about James Jones' approach to the draft and that he doesn't necessarily see value in over scouting his big board, if you will, or micro board is 6 or 7 guys, kind of that approach. In today's NBA, do you think that's a sustainable way to try to build, being perpetually in that win now mindset and not necessarily utilizing the draft?
Dude, as a fan, and you guys know I'm a fan of the game, always have been. I'm a fan of the Suns as a former player. Even though they traded me, I don't hold it against them. If I'm a fan, I want my team to always be thinking about now. Okay, yes, a little bit in the future, but I don't want to hear about a 5, 6, 7 year plan. I don't want to hear about that.
So you weren't a fan of the timeline? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I'm not like, the trust the process thing. I can only trust the process for so long, man. You got to give me some payoff.
Yeah.
But you still, the draft is so tricky, guys, because most of the players, not all, but most of them have only played 1 year of college basketball or maybe some international basketball against real, like, grown players. Like, everybody's good in high school. Newsflash, all right? We were all, everybody, all you guys, I'm sure, averaged 30 points a game in high school too.
I did.
But, when you go to the college level, you're finally playing against some well-coached guys that are older or just as good as you. It's the first time we actually see these players get tested and go through adversity on the floor. And is 30 games enough to really evaluate what a guy can do at the NBA level? I would argue that it's not. And so we're often rolling the dice. So I like it when sometimes there are young players who are, immediately, like, this guy's going to be just a total stud, like a Zion. When he's healthy and on the floor, that dude dominates every game I've ever watched him play, like ever, at any level. He's just incredible. It's easy to see guys like that. It's harder to me to see a Jabari Smith Jr., for example. Like, yeah, he's 6'10", and yeah, he shoots 44% from 3. But man, it was such a small sample size to pick him 1 or 2 or 3 and have him be the face of your franchise. It's harder to see that. You hope, you cross your fingers, but it is definitely harder to see it. So to go back to your question, I would rather, as a fan, want my GMs and my coaches to be thinking, hey, how can we be good this year, next year, and maybe a third year? Beyond that, don't even talk to me about that. I don't want to hear it. I want to win some games.
Well, I guess it's that time for the DA conversation.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it.
A lot of talk about DA, his future here. Just your general thoughts on that whole situation. And is this a situation where the Suns should bring him back? Are there any sign-in trades that kind of cross your radar as something that would be productive, especially because you look at tonight's draft and a couple of teams mentioned, Pacers, Spurs, Hawks, all had selections in the top 16.
So interesting. I knew this question was coming. I'm not super interested in talking about potential signing trades. You can go down that rabbit hole. We can be there all night, guys. Here's what I'll say though, from the outside looking in. I'm not beaten down. You guys are probably beaten down by all the Deandre Ayton talk. You've probably been beaten down over the last couple of months. I haven't, right? I don't live in Phoenix, and although I'm a fan of the Suns, I'm not on the blogs every day reading about this stuff. Here's what I know. I love Deandre Ayton as a player, and he has been exactly what I hoped he would be. He is still super rare. Okay. So if you take a step back and try and list on a piece of paper how many big men, truly 6'11", 7-footers who can play both ends of the floor like he can. He's not the only one, but man, that list is small. So before, we're, talking about, in playoff situations or against certain matchups, does DeAndre get played off the floor? I'm not about that. To me, he is still a young player, still developing on the defensive end. I remember watching him at Arizona. It was the last thing that kind of came along that year was his help side, his intelligence on when to block a shot, when not to. Defensively, he was always it looked like he was thinking out there. He's been pretty dang good from a big man perspective, being able to switch and guard smaller and just as big players. So, look, to me, the sun is still shining on Deandre Ayton. I don't know if there's clouds where you guys are at, but
we would like there to be.
It stays shining for me there, Casey, but other people don't agree. So,
Casey, what was your favorite memory from your draft night? Like, what stands out to you about the night the Suns picked you?
So it was June 24th, I believe, 2002. So it was 20 years ago. Almost to the day, which sounds really weird to say out loud. I was 21 years old. And my whole life was ahead of me. And, it was all the cliches, a dream come true and all that stuff. But to be honest, I was really actually nervous. I got the invite to the draft from the Suns general manager, Brian Colangelo, at the time. And when he invited me to the draft and he told me that if I'm available with the 22nd pick, that they were going to take me, I didn't believe him. I'd watched NBA drafts before and seen guys still in the green room, right, in their nice tux or suit or whatever, and have it be an embarrassing moment for them where they thought they were going to go first round and they ended up going second round, which to me was one of the worst things that could ever happen. Right now I'm an adult, and that wouldn't be a big deal. In fact, it'd probably be fuel for a fire inside of you. But to me, I told Brian, no, I don't want to do that because I don't want, I'd rather just stay with my family in Southern California, watch the NBA draft on my TV. And he's like, no, I'm telling you, we love you as a player. We think you can help us. And we want our fans to see you and get excited and have Craig Sager interview you in his weirdo suit and all that stuff and everything that comes with it. So I said yes. And then the other thing I want to say, Espo, is my mother was sick with cancer when I got drafted. And the pictures that we took with David Stern after the draft and in my suit, my mom was all dressed up. My dad was there with me. And my wife now, Brittany, was with me too. It was the last photo that I had of my mom, kind of before things really got worse. And she passed away about 9 months after that. So that picture still hangs in my home, and it's my mom looks fantastic. And it was a really special moment that I had with her before she passed. So it was a good memory.
Thanks for sharing that,
That was
Casey.
pretty awesome. Yeah,
That's very cool.
cool.
Casey, thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate your time tonight.
Of course, anytime. You guys are the best. Go Suns.
Yeah. If the Suns make any moves between now and the next, 10 days or so, we'll have to have you back on to help us break it down, okay?
All right, you got it.
See you next
Casey.
time.
Thanks, Casey.
I always love talking with Casey.
That was a sweet story.
Great
That
hype
made me
man
the
too.
feels.
I mean, he said we all averaged 30 points in high school, and my basketball career ended as a manager in middle school. So I didn't even get a chance to score 30 in high school.
I was more of a defensive player. I was really good on that side. That was
So I think we have some picks to catch up on here.
Should I just play the pick as in 3 times in a row?
Actually, you know what? Should we take a break here, reset, come back, we'll recap the first round and get in the second round?
We should, but do we have the link for the YouTube?
We will. We will have.
Well, I would like to put it in the chat before we sign off. For the
next one.
So basically, let's just break down what's going to happen right here. So we've been live for the last 3.5 or so hours. What we're going to do is we're going to drop a link in the chat to a new YouTube because we're going to use that and we're going to post that as our actual podcast, like on our feeds and everything.
Yeah. So we'll put in that new link. We will come back. We'll recap everything that happened in the first round. Talk a little second round. We will keep you updated on anything that the Suns may or may not do.
Hang for another hour or so, have some more food, play some more games. We got some more trivia things we need to bring you guys in on.
Yeah, we absolutely do. We only have, it's only going to take more than 2 to win tonight. So
it shouldn't be hard. And then we can refill on our 4 peaks as well.
We'll take like a 15-minute break and then we'll come back.
What do you guys think? So while we put that link in the chat, so to give everyone time to kind of like see that and move over to it, should we do one more trivia before
Let's do it. One more trivia. Let's do it.
All right.
Okay.
We're going to drop the link back in the chat here.
Are we doing the chat or the Discord?
Yeah, we'll do it in the chat. And the first person to click that link, join us. You will be able to answer questions here with 60 seconds. If you can answer more than 3 right, you will be the leader.
Just get 3 right.
Yeah.
You'll be the leader.
Yeah, if you get 3 right. So we're going to drop that link in the chat here shortly. There we go. The link is there. First person to come in here is going to get to answer some questions. Who's going to read them this time?
I will.
Lindsay will read the questions for you. So I feel it, right? I think we're actually going to have somebody answer more than 3 right this time.
Well, we have 75 questions in total, and I think we've only gotten through 10.
Who is it? What does it say? What's the name?
Phil.
Let's bring in Phil.
Hi, Phil.
Hi, Phil.
Hey.
All right. Are you ready?
I guess.
Love the confidence. Here we go.
Shane, can you put 60 seconds on the clock? Okay.
3, 2, 1.
Which NBA draft prospect has the most Instagram followers? Is it Chet, Paolo, Ty, or Jaden Hardy?
Chet.
Yes. Okay. Which NBA team has the most total posts on Instagram? Is it the Lakers, the Cavs, the Warriors, or the 76ers?
Sixers.
Wrong. Of the top 10 most followed NBA players on Instagram, who is the youngest? Lonzo Ball, Trae Young, Giannis Antetokounmpo, or Jalen Green?
Green.
No. All right. What is the Arizona State flower?
You can pass.
You can pass.
Pass it.
What year did Arizona become a state?
1914.
12. So close. What year did
12.
What year were the Suns founded?
68.
There we go.
I got one.
A 3-way tie. Oh my goodness.
We got threesome, twosome. Yay!
This is going to be amazing if everybody gets 2 right.
1912.
You were so close. So close.
Phil, thanks so much for joining us tonight.
Thank you, Phil.
Bye.
Oh my gosh, that was so close.
Nobody's ever getting more than 2.
I think people were like, okay, Suns, or they're thinking NBA trivia, and then she's like, State flower. He's like, what? What the fuck is that?
Which guy is young on Instagram? All of them?
I told you it's the saguaro flower. What is it actually called? It's called the white blossom of the saguaro flower, but I would have just said saguaro.
I know what the state bird is, and we'll tell you in part 2 of the show.
Part 2 of the show. The link is in the chat, ladies and gentlemen. So click on that link and join us on the next stream. We'll be back in about 10 minutes, and we'll get rocking and rolling as we wrap this bad boy up for the next hour.
We'll recap everything. We'll keep you in the know if the Suns do anything, which I highly doubt
so
they
I can
will.
feel my butt.
I can't feel my leg. I got nothing, right? So Lindsay, do you want to sign us off, or are we just gonna go?
SVO said softball questions from Lindsay.
She
Typical
tried.
LMAO.
She tried. And
What is your
still-
name? Pass.
I was trying. All right, we'll see you guys in 10 minutes. Come over, take a quick bathroom break, get your refreshments all set up for the final hour of the show. We'll see you in 10 minutes, okay? Bye.
Ahoy, hoy.
Hank McCoy.